Oh God, that's awful.
It's really
Mac close cam gets me every time. It's so funny. It's not even a face. He's just slightly closer to the screen. Hello everybody. Good evening.
Hello.
How's y'all's
Konnichiwa.
doing? Konnichiwa, indeed. Probably. Are
Konnichiwa.
you taking notes about? Oh no.
There you go. Is that better?
Oh, yikers.
Ooh. Hi, hello. After getting outed by Google Captions, we're live. I want to say that literally 0% of what the captions said were accurate after looking back. Looks like it's still in beta for a reason, so thank you for that. Yeah, we're gonna jump into the recap right away here. Before we do, I do have two little quick announcements on session 21. It is July 3rd. It is insane that it is already not only summer, but in Canada at least halfway through. Can
you remind me?
Yeah, I know. I'm reminding you that summer is over in about 30 to 40 days.
Stop. Don't put that out there.
I want to go back to school.
Well, also that. I also just meant the weather because it's going to be cold here by like...
You know where I live. Nothing changes.
Yeah, you're permanently on fire. It's all good. But yeah, so first announcement. Announcement number one. Thank you.
Announcement.
Thank you, everybody. Not really announcement. I just want to take a second to thank everybody, the players, the artists who obviously did a lot of work getting our show looking as snazzy as it does, and you, the audience, for, you know, hanging out every week. We have finally solved the riddle of YouTube VOD uploads, so our upload schedule will be back to normal. Everything on YouTube is current and accurate, so if you missed last week...
He defeated them with a limerick.
I did. It took so long to write that limerick, but we're here. Literally over a month between episode uploads. I am so sorry, but we are good to go going forward. Second announcement, due to life being life. Yeah, announcement number 2. Thank you, Club. Much appreciated. Due to life being life, we are currently looking for a new social media manager. Shanti is slaving away at the mines in real life, so is not usually available during our stream time on Monday nights. She works late on Mondays. That's what I'm trying to say. So she's not able to join the stream on time in order to keep up with the rhythm of
The mines.
Yeah,
I actually know someone who works in the mines. I was like, she works in the mines? What are you talking about?
Eric, did you hire Chantel? No. But no, so she's still be in the audience every now and then, I'm sure, and I know she watches our VOD. She just won't be available to support with TikTok and Clip and stuff like that, which is why you haven't seen anything on those platforms. So we are looking for a new media manager. Could be one of y'all in chat. Could be even a player, although I doubt you guys will have the attention span to assist with that during stream, but maybe before and after you can help out. Or if you guys know anyone who is TikTok savvy and also willing to stomach the ever harshness of the Twitter landscape to post updates about our channel, please reach out to me. I'm going to post our email in chat. You can just send me an email, or if you know me on Discord, you can always pop in there as well. So that's it. That's really all I got for announcements. I almost said Aster because we played that 2 hours ago. Nico, what kind of tunes do you want as you give us our recap for the week? And are you doing it in character or as Kim?
Yes.
Okay, Nico. Okay, what do you want?
Wait, which character?
Oh no!
Aster breaks through the fourth wall.
Cross-continent. This is a tough decision. May I please have? Did you ever play like the side-scrolling Donkey Kong games? So essentially every Donkey Kong game except for Donkey Kong 64. I want something that like.
You want something with bongos? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
You basically just want something with bongos. All right, let's see what I got. I think I actually have something. Hold on. No, that's Call of Cthulhu. That will not give us the joy we're seeking.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Yeah, it sounds
Donkey Kong,
you
Call of
actually
Cthulhu.
would be surprised.
What?
Because it's like a jungle. It's a jungle Cthulhu. So it's actually there we go. This is the best I got.
10 out of 10. I love it.
All right, bring us
Alright.
in
Cthulhu.
for session 21 of
Alright.
Patria 2.
Yes, this has been our third night's rest in the Feywild. Days still deny all reason, and passage of time here is strange. There's much to study there. But yes, we awoke in the morning to find Mark 5.0, whatever they are, frighteningly obsessed with the unidentifiable egg that Aqua carries in her sling. Mork, mouth breathing in that creepy way that makes their mechanical mustache flutter, picked away at the crack in the egg. They used pieces of the removed shell to try and fill the sparking dent in their head. I've personally never taken the time to repair the damage to the monodrone's head, but now in retrospect I wish I had. Aqua harnessed the surging powers of the Feywild to craft a beautiful hat of flowers for Mork. Covering the whole, snapped them to rapt attention, introducing themselves as Colonel Mark with a salute. Seeing this brief moment of clarity, I will have to put more research into a permanent repair of Mork's dent and functions. Grants them a not previously observed intelligence, making them perhaps a much more useful assistant than I once thought. Next that morning, we followed Moss's lead onwards, an exhausted Nile and a quite dour Soren in tow. Moss approached the edge of the sisters' domain with confidence. The air there was hollow and dead. We trespassed easily, climbing a large fence that, of course, the behemoth Furbolg could just step over. I will have to create a solution for scaling large obstacles quickly while fleeing danger. Spring-filled shoes, perhaps? Nah, needs workshopping. We came upon the cottage I had seen through my clairvoyance spell the night prior. It was decrepit and empty and ringed by rows of rotten vegetables. Moss called out, and with no answer, they walked through the wide-open door, disappearing beyond the threshold. Luckily, just a pocket dimension. Clever. Good idea for building a laboratory. Think of how much undisturbed work I could do. Regardless, inside were the beautiful gardens surrounding the fortress of the Sisters of the Umbral Vale. Two unsettling hags. Archfey? Not sure. Nonetheless, old and powerful, and these hags were much more unnerving than previous research notes had let on. The ladies Bavlorna and Lady Scabatha, or Miss Nightshade, were perfectly hospitable and welcomed us in. They asked where they were being banished next after recognizing Yolanda's signature of her deal with Moss. We learned of Yolanda's control of House Ferrix and condemnation of the other two sisters of the Umbral Vale. They considered Yolanda dead to them as they were outmaneuvered by her and betrayed. Moss carefully navigated us through negotiations with the sister. They did not fully acquiesce to the Centaur's request for free movement through Whispering Wood, but they did agree to let King Arventhil withdraw his stranded troops. They will only help the King of the Centaurs if we help them gain control of House Ferrix. Through honesty about their deal with Yolanda and their loss of magic from the Lady of Nights, Moss struck another pact with the sisters to return Yolanda to the Feywild, secure her death, and guarantee the sisters' control of House Ferrix. In exchange, if we fail, Moss has wagered their soul. Moss was quite blasé. Apparently they put their soul up for collateral all the time in Fey deals. They seemed to make a sport of it. Moss beseeched the sisters to be their allies in an ousting of the Fey Ascendancy. They declined without assurances of our success. Moss apparently needs more than just a band of mortal travelers to win the Sisters' alliance. While we were their guests as well, the sisters offered the battle-worn Nile a tea to soothe his tired soul. While terrifying, they are good hosts. Nile was cleansed of the effects of the draft he'd taken in battle yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. As well, the sisters sniffed out my Fey distiller. Thankfully, they did not damage it. It would be incredibly difficult to repair without the lab, and I need those bracelets working soon. The sisters were curious of its effects and drank deeply from the collected Fey Essence reservoir. It revitalized her and reversed her age. Curious. I'll have to add that to my notes. It seems drinking much of the Fey Essence is not harmful, at least to the Fey. But again, just like I found with my Fit bracelets, the essence is borrowed. We cannot hold it forever. I'll have to figure out a way to keep the essence inside a person and prevent it from leaking out. Kindly, the sisters warned me to be more mindful of what I take from the Feywild. Or at least who I tell. As well, she let us know of more portals and other challenges affecting the Fey realm, specifically mentioning Mornwick, a permanent portal. I'll have to inquire later with Moss. After answering many of our questions, we bid adieu to the sisters. Aqua stayed back for more than a few minutes to ask questions of her own to the sisters. We do not know what is discussed, but Aqua returned from the conversation pale, or at least a lighter shade of blue. Next, we returned to the Centaur's camp, but along the way, Moss asked to drink from the Fey Essence Reservoir as well. Horrifyingly, Moss transformed into a creature wearing the faces of various people. Apparently, this is that Dream Reaper they had spoken of. Ugh, even more disquieting than I had expected, but Moss was elated. They did not ruthlessly slaughter our group, which, judging from Soren's quick reflexes, was a very real possibility. Instead, Moss was able to wrestle control of the body and found new power as this creature. But I hate looking at it. Ugh, so many yucky creatures in the Feywild. Regardless, with an emboldened Moss, we reported back to King Ardenthil. He's not pleased we did not fully succeed, but granted us passage to the Plains of Merciless Amber to Moss's next destination, the Epoch Valley, where they will entreat the Lady of Nights for their magic back. Or maybe a cute coup of the Lady of Nights in the Ascendancy? I'm genuinely unsure. At the camp of the Centaurs, their Oracle Lyra passed along the much-requested information about the whereabouts of my mentor, Professor Torwin. She's being held captive by the Historian. Torwin has been trapped in a Fey deal, bound to live out her days, unable to fulfill it. At least, though, she is alive. I do need to pick her brain about the rat engine. And I guess we should get that man Kuno out of the mural while we're at it. I need to keep these folks on my side, and a warrior indebted to me is not a bad thing. Especially one whom I have deduced also seems to practice hemomancy. Very much to dig into there. Now this historian, the historian, dwells at the Cathedral of the Oracles on the radiant isles of the Iridescent Sea. From the sounds of it, it is beyond the paths tread by the living, a sort of Feywild afterlife. You don't travel there, you arrive. This will be a good test run for my future plans. Perhaps we will even be able to save Professor Torwin's essence from the clutches of death itself. That would be a valiant effort for this group of travelers, no? But to summarize, we have to help the sisters, to help the king, to help ourselves get to the Epoch Valley, and then beyond to the Radiant Isles. It is quite convoluted, but it seems to be the way of the Fae. Now, storyteller, this group of adventurers I found, gosh, they are risky business, but they do seem capable. Moss, even without their magic, seems able to talk anyone into just about anything. Think they could sweet-talk the High Magister for me. The potential for my research if I could draw more leyline power from the arcane net with just this one silver tongue. I think I will travel with them for a while longer. Perhaps they can help me find what I'm looking for.
Wow, great.
That was great.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, awesome.
Very, very thorough. Actually helped me out because there were a lot of like little nuanced things that happened last session. Thank you, Aster. Nope. I said that with so much confidence. With so much confidence.
Absolute confidence.
Thank you, Nico, for the phenomenal recap.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think I have. I can't believe how I said that with my chest and everything. Aster, amazing job, Aster. Yeah, I don't have anything to add besides throwing it to you guys. I don't believe you have long rested yet.
Nope.
I believe
We're on 3.
Yeah, you're on day 3.
We're on long rest 3.
Long rest 3, so day 4. Technically. But yes, Bubbly.
I was just gonna say, last thing I wrote is we move with the clan of centaurs south to Epoch to the court.
Yes.
That's the last thing we've done.
They are
The Epoch.
attending with
Epoch.
you. However, even with Epoch, even with the centaurs joining you, including King
Julian.
King Julian! No, including God damn it. It's so easy.
I'm good.
It's so quick.
Immediately.
Now I can't remember his name because you just stole it from me.
Arvindil?
Arvindil, thank you.
Yep.
You just stole it by saying Julian. You guys moved out. Even with King Arvinthil joining you, he made it very clear he will not come to your defense against even your own mother without the strengthening of your allies. Very similar sentiment to what the sisters said to you, Moss, that, yeah, we'll join when you have a chance of a positive outcome. Even with your silver tongue, as Nico says, still some work to do in terms of getting people on your side.
It's only been a few hundred years.
A few hundred years.
I just have to remind everybody.
Yeah, you're their friend. You've done nothing wrong. Everything's great. But yes, well, we'll start off as you guys are, say, for the sake of continuing on your journey. This is the end of the first full day of travel. So in between last session and this session, you guys have traveled a full day with the help of the centaurs, not riding on their back. They are moving at your speed, but you have a honor guard, basically, including King Arvinthil, protecting you. Throughout the day, you did not discover anything of note in terms of dangers or even really any new curious critters such as the house cat family. It seems that the resounding sound of centaur hooves across a glassy amber field is a fearsome enough sound to keep most people at bay. Most creatures at bay, I should say. It is the end of the first day of travel. You guys are winding down for the night. It's not quite time to bed. What is everyone doing? What is everyone working on, planning, thinking? We'll throw it to you, Aqua, first.
Why me? I was waiting for everyone else.
That's the problem, is you're all waiting for everybody else. I'll pick on you guys. What's Aqua doing?
Probably sitting by Niall or hanging out with Niall most of the time. But most likely Niall's already picked up that Aqua has been scarily quieter than normal.
Very noticeable difference.
And probably holding on to Greg and the egg a lot more than normal too. That's it.
Niall,
So to clarify, she's freaking out.
Yeah. How does Niall feel about this?
It's
Obviously
disconcerting because usually if there's something wrong, Aqua makes it not known. So the fact that it's known is concerning.
Yeah, I think just the heaviness of whatever Aqua is going through, pushing through even her facade, which, as you've discovered, she definitely has one. No one is perfectly happy all the time.
I'm also kind of waiting for like a moment where everyone else isn't near us so we can have our own little talk.
As a group or just the two?
No, just me and Aqua.
Now that you guys have kind of started up camp, you guys usually sleep in the same tent, so you could choose to put it out at earshot of most people, saying that you'd like the space without really raising any alarms. Easily enough to do.
Aqua,
Yeah.
what actually happened in there?
Well, she pulled off one of her fingers, and now I have a new finger because the other one started to rot.
Aqua,
I
love the little smile there.
Sorry.
so hard to stay in character when Aqua's here.
I know. The fact that Aqua and Bubbly laugh at each other's jokes as if they're two different people fucking ruins my immersion. Not in a bad way, but in like a I can't not laugh.
But
I get mad at myself because I'm like, no, I want to be better at this. But then I see everyone else's reaction, and every time I go,
dude, whenever I do intense like one-on-one dialogues, I use the video feature to make just them on my screen so that I don't see you guys in the background laughing and making faces.
Yeah, or freaking out.
Or freaking out, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay. I know I am not the person saying this because it's quite hypocritical, but if you want someone to talk to about things that are darker or not pleasant to speak of, then we're alone and you can talk to me.
Aren't we alone now?
Yes. Exactly my point.
Oh. What do you do when you get told something really bad and you don't know what to do with it?
Suppose it would depend on what that bad thing is, because if it's a curse forcing you to kill people, otherwise your own life is forfeit, then obviously you run away from your family.
A little on the nose.
Wow, that's a little specific. Okay, we'll get back to that in a second. Okay, well, what if you had like a weird vision, all right? It felt so real, okay, that all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, I see my past, and then all of a sudden you see a weird wing thingy, and then it points its finger at you, and then all of a sudden some voodoo stuff started happening, and now all of a sudden there's a clock on your back. What do you do?
Clock? Is this hypothetical or is this real?
you tell me, Niall. You're the smart one.
Insight.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Where are my dice? Where's the D20? Okay, there we go. Well, that's a good roll. That's a 19.
19. Aqua, you could choose to roll if you think you're trying to be deceptive.
So what kind of face does Niall make?
Confused.
All right, let me ask this again, because Bubbly actually doesn't know what that word means. So what? Infused or confused?
Confused.
I heard infused. I'm like, okay, I'm a fucking idiot. So like,
her
what the
face
fuck
just
is infused?
powered up.
I was like, okay, I don't know the English dictionary that well, but what is infused? I'm confused.
She's confused.
Okay, Bubbly's also confused. So just confused or like concerned or like what?
Probably yeah, concerned, just like a little bit.
Okay. I found out I'm sick. And I don't know how long I have. And I'll show like a corner of my shoulder.
Yeah, Niall, this isn't the first time you've seen this light. But as you're able to actually see it and not just the glow of it, you see seared into her flesh as if a years-old burn mark, glowing a dull blue, are runic symbols that lead all the way up the back of her arm, all the way towards like her armpit shoulder region into her back.
found out it was a curse, so I finally figured that out, which was great because I've had this for a long time. And I know I've always been very cheerful all the time, but because I never thought this thing was bad, I always thought, hey, maybe this will be a clue to find my dad. Who knows? But like, it's not. And it's really sad because I finally got to meet all of you, my new friends. And now I don't know if I'll actually have a proper goodbye. Because, you know, it would really suck if we were in the middle of battle and then all of a sudden, like, it's not the greatest thing in the world.
I think any time would be a bad time.
Well, yeah, death isn't exactly fun. Unless you're a really mean person, then maybe it's worth it. But like, I didn't think it was that. I didn't think I was that mean. I don't really understand why I got this.
Doesn't really make much sense, does it?
No.
Well, now that we know the source of what's happened to you, it being a curse. Well, not that I know a lot about magic, but I'm sure there are some ways to break curses. And conveniently, you have a band of adventurers here to help you.
Yeah. But it doesn't really sound like anyone knows either. I know they know magic, but the curse, like the sisters knew curses and they didn't know.
Really feels like there's no hope sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you die, though.
Well, I won't let you die either, Niall.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, no one's allowed to touch you. Except for Greg. But he won't hurt you that much. It might be a lick in the ear, that's about it.
That's not the most uncomfortable thing I've experienced.
Ooh, go on.
I was in a war, Aqua.
Someone licked your ear in the war?
I was waiting for it.
Not quite that.
Someone licked you somewhere else?
No, there was no licking.
Oh, well then what's more uncomfortable than that?
Being stabbed.
Oh, that's not too bad. Depends on where it is, though. If it's the upper thigh, sometimes it hits it a little weird.
It's a little weird.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
If it was the heart, that's a different story. I haven't really talked to anyone after that. Know how it feels.
As I was saying, I'm not going to let you die, Aqua. I don't just mean in battle. I mean, whatever this curse is, whatever it's trying to do to you, whether it's trying to kill you or make you do something or anything of the like, it won't let it.
Well. And I just go in for like the biggest bear hug ever to Niall. And I whisper, "Thank you, Niall. I actually feel safest with you.
course, Aqua.
Touch my back.
What?
What? Do you want to touch my back?
Sure.
Secretly just eyeing for a back rub. It's been so long.
It's so sore.
It's so intense. Guys.
I'll reach because Aqua's taller than me because I'm so short. Just reach and place a hand on, like,
Do you give
behind her neck.
some
But,
scratches?
like, not behind, just like,
Yeah, touch the
like
glowy part.
like a good shoulder pat.
Yeah.
All right, then. That was so wholesome and so funny as always. Great job. What are the rest of you doing? Don't know if you guys could top that, but Nico, Soren, and Moss bedding down for the night. Not quite bedtime, but setting up camp and probably stretching out the legs after a sprint across the plains.
Moss has just been preparing every possible counter argument he could possibly prepare it for talking to his mother. Counting all of the bullshit on one hand and all of the
So
other.
preparing for debate club.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's just got like a tree of if this then that arguments ready to go scrawled on his arm. Yeah, absolutely. The mental preparedness of what is potentially to come. As Moss is mentally exhausting himself day after day, what is Moss hoping to accomplish? What is the best and worst outcome of the
Best
meeting of your mother?
outcome. Best outcome, Lady of Nights admits that she's wrong and withdraws all of her insane claims across this call to arms in favor of a better plan. As well as also helping create us a portal to kill Yolanda. Worst case
as a
scenario,
side gig. Can you also
yeah,
ship me to Yolanda so we can finally murk that hag? Yeah, fair enough.
Basically just gonna be like, Mom, this hag put a curse on me and then lied to me about it. Can we kill her?
But can we kill it, Mom? Mom, can we kill it?
Mom,
Mom, I got a curse put on me again.
It wasn't my fault. Okay.
You didn't do it.
And then worst case scenario, we leave on bad terms with my mother and with the realization that I might have to,
Good old killing your mom. Yeah, that'll happen.
Worst case scenario, I have to stage a coup against the living gods.
Yeah. Honestly, if that's all you're up against, I don't see why everyone's so stressed out. Let's get it. Let's go. Last campaign, we killed a god. This campaign, we're gonna coup the gods. Gonna overthrow them.
At least one of them's gonna die.
That's true. 1v1 Star Mommy versus Moss Mommy? I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Lady of Stars might be super chill. We don't really know.
It's true. Just be vibing.
She's just been real busy ever since she got her powers.
It's true.
I think they're talking about two different things.
Soren,
Yep.
you've learned a lot in the last 48, my guy.
Yeah. I think I'm helping Moss prep because just to see what he knows and what his information is. That way, if he needs someone to interject and back him up, if he's kind of faltering, then Soren knows what to like something to say or like hear if he like falters and just like not that it's his place, but I just saw that. That's why I was like pausing because I was like, because I just pictured Soren holding up flashcards to the Moss. Like,
Moss, don't forget the Yolanda. don't forget.
Oh yeah,
Team players.
But yeah, I think he's also like kind of like, but he's more taking it all in rather than like interjecting and asking. He's just more like listening to like Moss because he's like just rather would listen than because he's more learning, absorbing this information that he might not even have to like say anything.
I think in terms of Soren's ability to kind of capture and lock in information, you start picking up a lot of what Moss knows of the Feywild. You learn about, he goes off on a tangent on a council that he was a part of, in regards to finally stabilizing the realms of Mardoon and making them a united land, even though they were really broken into, gosh, I can't even remember how many different, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different regions. They were formed into a single union, not under a king, but under an equilateral council, which was established by Moss centuries ago. And so a lot of his anger of the centaurs being out on their own and everything going on starts to kind of click in that all of this work and forget the fact that people are dying during these battles and even just the time of his life that he wasted doing this just to have it get washed away, all because he came out of the Feywild and suddenly 100 years had gone past, and not being able to control that even as a son of a living god. There's a lot of anger that begins to make a lot more sense. And give me an insight check, Soren.
Okay. Ooh, not very good. 11.
11. Kind of, even as your rough exterior that you give, the persona that you exhibit with other people, you are, in maybe not the most fundamental version of the term, empathetic. You're able to empathize with what people, what that feels like. Even if you don't actually care, what that feels like. And
he more equates it to like something. He's working hard on something and it just being thrown in the trash.
It's almost that selfish, borderline narcissism of, I've gone through that already. I know what you're talking about. But for you, what it comes down to is that stressful frustration of, looking inwards. Your dad's a bad guy. He's not the most up and up nobleman in the Solana Desert. And what he did to you and your brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe you start to think about the fact that you and your brother both leapt at the possibility of finding your mother. Not because she was missing, not because you love her, but because it's something else. It is, A, the journey you and your brother have taken has taken you far away from your father, and B, the idealism of there has to be something more.
Like the first-hand, the experience of actually experiencing life outside the castle walls.
Absolutely. I think even for Soren, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to speak for you, but based on the conversations we've had, I think even the possibility of you not knowing what your soul is, who your soul is and your god not really giving you an answer one way or the other is exciting, because it's unique.
A blank slate.
It's new. It's a possibility of blank slate. Maybe Dr. Kalis Delanor is not your father. Or if he is, maybe the soul that was attached to this body originally is somewhere else, and so you can have your own thoughts. You can join a party of adventurers halfway across the continent and not beeline for the most up-to-date information on your mother, but rather experience life on the way. It's eye-opening to see that even though this person across the fire from you, Moss, who has lived 6 of your lifetimes, if not more, has experienced much of the same as what you have in your life. Nico, this morning, or before you started this day's journey, you were finally given a tiny little morsel of fact. The professor was alive.
As far as we know.
As far as you know. And as far as you've been told, not in danger. Simply, like you witnessed Moss do with the sisters, maybe made a deal they couldn't figure out or weren't prepared for. Sitting around a fire, maybe alone, maybe just out of earshot of Moss and Soren, maybe with the other centaurs, kind of off. What is Aster? God fucking damn it. What is Nico? Well, you don't play D&D for 8 hours on a Monday. What is Nico thinking, doing, living right now?
Well, I'm glad to hear that Professor Torwin is alive, because it makes it easier to get information from her because she's not dead. I am keeping myself busy though, stewing on it and stewing what it's gonna look like, because I don't know anything about this, so I think I'd be chit-chatting with the centaurs about kind of what the Radiant Isles are, what the historian, like who the historian is, and seeing if I can get any more information out of the centaurs. Just, I know nothing about it, so whatever they can give me.
Absolutely. In fact, Lyra did join the travel group to the south. Originally, before you guys left, there was a bit of a spat on who should stay, and if the king is leaving, then the next highest authority, which would be the Oracle, should stay behind. She, being who she is, convinced the group otherwise and has joined you. Lyra Moondancer is an enigma, something very different than the dusty and snobby wizards that you've spent the last decade or so around. Breath of fresh air in this already very different forest that you find yourself in. She tells you of the Radiant Isles, a series of islands created in what is believed to be the first gate that was formed between the Feywild and the material plane, something that happened so many millennia ago that it is lost to that time. But what isn't lost is the mysticism of the islands. The simple fact of the matter is the islands used to be an island, and the sudden creation of a portal to material plane shattered this land and shrouded it in this mysticism, this cloudy, miasmic energy that protects it from all who would enter without passing. It is, in essence, the afterlife of the Feywild, but yet not only achievable through death. And this is where Lyra starts to lose you, trying to explain the ability of specifically the Eladrin, which are the source of elves, the original elves, thought to be created by the goddess Ara in the material plane. The people of the Feywild disagree and say that the Eladrin existed before the portal to the material plane was ever created. And the Eladrin were the first to travel across the waters to the Radiant Isles, and as such established it as their kingdom. And so the Eladrin fed on this portal and spilled into the material plane, creating the initial elven civilizations that ruled for... The rumors persist, but some say before Kaela even got there. Some say the Eladrin walked among the primordials. But you don't know how much of that you believe from Lyra, who's smoking a pipe while talking to you around a fire in a field of amber surrounded by centaurs, versus the hundreds of history books that say Ara created the elves. You're not religious, but you go off the knowledge that has been passed down. And so you take that information as you see fit. She goes on to describe the historian, who is thought to be the only creature in the Feywild older than the Ascendancy. Because as it is described, and as Moss has alluded to, the Ascendancy, the sisters that used to be, the three ladies, were creatures. They existed as mortal, long-living creatures before they ascended. And so they were already hundreds and hundreds of years old. They were Eladrin themselves. They were thousands of years old already. And when they became living gods, that no longer mattered. Their existence started anew with Mother's Mercy, putting them at only about 350 years old as living gods. And so the historian is believed to be one of the few Eladrin who survived the cataclysm that was the creation of the Ascendancy, leading to the historian being basically the oldest creature in the Feywild. They are an Eladrin historian in that is their title, but it is also their role. They collect the secrets of people's past and record it, not for sale, not for information, but for record in the afterlife. Lyra even jokes and says maybe that's where Mallow got the idea, to record the living creation of every mortal being on the material plane, recorded in his great library in these massive tomes, some of which have fallen to the material plane and been used against him. And they chuckle at that. And maybe he stole that idea from the historian.
And they just record, like, they record all living things, or just, like, Fae?
It appears to be primarily of the Fae.
Gotcha.
The last thing Lyra goes into, as you have broken her open into a tangent, is on some of her personal beliefs with the relationship between the Feywild and the material plane, something that is unbecoming of an Oracle of the Centaurs. Lyra, as calmly as she can, describes something more important than hatred. A loathing, a endless frustration for the pompous attitude that the children and their mother have towards the other planes. Who could they dare be to strike down the primordials who created Patria? and call it their own. Call the elves and the humans and dwarves and gnomes and halflings and Aarakocra and all manner of creatures that spilled forth from dimensions all over. How could they claim any of it as their own? For every story you've heard about one of the gods creating something, Lyra matches it with a perfect retelling of how things actually happened, according to her and people of the Feywild.
Don't get the archivist started.
Go find the archivist. Or the historian, that'll be fun. The last thing she hits on, in relating to this kind of shit-talking of the gods, is that she does not hate them. In fact, she's glad they exist. For before the Ascendancy, the Feywild had no purpose as a united people. They squabbled and fought and politicized and murdered and assassinated and warred and invented all new realms of possibility just to say, I'm better than this. The children of Kaela did something more potent than arguably even the Ascendancy could do, which was unite the Feywild. Not in war, but in disdain. She also says she does not wish to kill them, only shut them up.
The children or the Ascendancy?
The children. She does not see any harm in what the children are doing on Patria, but rather their influence either directly or through the people who travel here with religious scripts, clerics on journeys where they get paid by a charity to go to a far off land and build a school, that kind of stuff happening in the Feywild, where that's the problem that most Fey creatures have. Nobody wants to die fighting a god from another realm. There is no glory in trespassing on one's land to kill what they believe in. At that point, it's been a few hours listening to her rant and rave and politely critique any rebuttal you have, where you're not trying to convince her, but you're like, hey, but this is what I was taught. And watching her dismantle the little religious knowledge that you do have, as it has never been your forte.
Mackenzie would be so thrilled right now.
And I don't know, what does Aster take in from all this?
Not that one.
Who's Aster?
Every time I'm going to bed.
Yo,
Have a good
everybody
night,
go watch
everybody.
Rascals.
Yeah.
Or listen to Rascals.
Good night, everybody. Just going to bed.
That's your cue to listen to Rascals.
Yeah, clearly. Nico.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one.
Maybe.
I'm sorry. So mad.
I think to me, this all sounds like the vague. It's all interesting, but it definitely goes to the realm of vague, ravings of a lunatic. It no longer makes sense. It no longer has any real substance to it. It's all conjecture. There's no evidence behind it. So I'm just sure, that's what you think. That's what those other people who proselytize on the mortal realm think, but it's all just nonsense. I'm sure they're real beings, sure, Because clearly we can see the effect of the gods on the world, but beyond that, nah. None of this has any substance until I see hard proof to it. So I'll politely note it, just for me to refer to it if I ever need it. But beyond that, it all sounds crazy to me.
Right. If there is nothing else that any of you would like to attest to, you will complete your 4th long rest.
Number 4.
Official scribe.
Regain any spells and hit points and yada yada. The morning comes earlier than I think most of you expected. A wake-up call is round out, a alarm, a ringing bell, summoning the soldiers to wake up, eat, and head out. These are soldiers after all. Niall is the only one who, you know, maybe have grown a little soft in your comfort in the last little bit, but is still a soldier at heart for sure. Okay. Not terrible for your portent. Nice. You guys head out. I would like one of you to roll a d20 for me.
I can roll it.
Sure.
Nose goes.
All right.
High rolls.
Master Mackenzie.
Mackenzie, because he did the high roll last time for
I
100.
cut them in half, glue them together, and then roll that.
Half.
All right.
No.
Mackenzie, don't let us down, buddy. What am I roll? Oh, just a flat
Just
roll?
a d20, yep.
15.
Hey, average.
15.
No, that's not average. Average
That's not
is 10.
average.
I'm just a fucking idiot.
It's like
Okay.
extremely above
fine.
average.
Yeah, it's B+.
The journey goes relatively smoothly. You have been told by the king this will take about a week's travel. Which only Moss knows a Feywild week is only 3 days. But the rest of you are like,
Oh, this is like shit. We're here for a long haul.
At some point in the day, who has the highest passive perception? Probably Moss, right?
Passive
Like
perception.
Moss or Aqua?
Moss or
Aqua.
I have 16.
I have 15.
16.
16s? Okay. You both notice, just a hair before the rest of you notice, you both hear the sound of flapping leathery wings. Not massive, mid-sized, not huge dragon leathery wings. You guys look up and it is a sight to behold, something that even Moss, I don't think you've seen outside of jesters in courts telling fables of the crazy things one might happen upon in the various realms of Mardoon. You see a group of technicolor-skinned gnomes wearing beautiful hats, these bowler hats with large feathers on both sides kind of curling up almost like tieflings' horns on the back, riding on the backs of giant hummingbirds. And they are flying in V formation, about 10 of them. About 100 feet up, you hear the flapping leathery wings of these hummingbirds. Seem to be kind of more fleshy than feathery. And they... Yeah, this is fun. I need everyone to make me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh,
What are they pooping on
shit
us?
on
Or?
I rolled really good.
Let's go.
Dex save.
Dex save.
19.
19. I got a 3 from Nico.
3.
got a 10.
Me and the
Got a
boys
4?
riding a flesh bird.
I got a 19 too.
A 19.
I was just going like.
You're just going like this. Okay. Aqua, what'd you get?
I got a natural 1 with a +3, so I have a
yeah.
4.
Hell yeah. So anyone below a 12, you get a Technicolor splatter of poop dropped on your chest. Aqua takes one right in the dome. Almost knocking her on her ass.
Aqua's looking up.
It has a yeah, Aqua's looking up, yeah.
How big are these bird shits if they're rideable?
They're like plum sized. Like it's a big splat. It's gross. They smell very sweet. Almost like sugar cane.
Please don't. Please don't.
I won't.
Aqua's thinking about it. Bubbly's thinking about it.
No, Bubbly's actually slowly throwing up in her mouth.
Moss just looks back
How
with
sweet
it.
it is.
And for the centaurs, oh, not great. A good half of them also take a pelting. You do see the oracle begin to scoop some of it up into a vial, just passively, and then continues traveling.
I will follow suit.
Yeah, I think Soren does the same, but he also makes his way
Last
to
guy
ask.
pressed whatever it's called.
It is the consistency of both cotton candy and like spitball at the same time. So it's wet and mushy like paper crochet, but also like wiry like cotton candy. And it smells great, and you kind of squish it into empty vials that I'm sure most of you have some regard of. You guys can all add however many vials you think you can manage
3
of leather-backed hummingbird shit.
I think Soren's gonna go up to the oracle and ask, what is this good
paper
for?
crochet and not paper mache?
I wasn't gonna say anything. It's fine.
My favorite
Leather-
art, paper crochet.
Leather backed what?
Hummingbird shit.
Hummingbird.
That's the best custom item I've ever made.
Yep, damn right it is.
I
And you
got
can put
3
in brackets
left.
Technicolor, because that is the type of hummingbird it is.
Notes. It's technically a color. That's what Technicolor is for, right?
Yeah.
Yay.
Totally.
Yeah, Soren asks, what is this good for? Why are you scooping it up? It's just fold soup. Just cause. To the oracle.
It is used in some salves for injuries. It acts as sort of a it numbs the pain and gives dreams and visions of a more relaxed
It's a
state.
drug.
Soren holds up like 3 vials. He's like, how much would this make?
Properly distilled, you'd be looking at quite a healthy amount. It is quite potent. So most use essence of it mixed in with healing magic and potions and
I'm
whatnot.
gonna start a fave vape.
It's basically like morphine and meth,
Oh my god.
or probably LSD. Maybe not meth. Maybe LSD.
Leatherback hummingbird.
Morphine and LSD, leatherback hummingbird.
100%.
Little did they know it's made of their shit.
It is. Most things are.
Yeah, but and how long does it keep, even sealed?
In that form, probably a month or 2. You'd want to get it distilled down to its essence fairly quickly, and then it lasts shelf life of a few years.
Okay. All right.
Most of the soldiers are just pissed off, but they scrape it off and like give most of it to the oracle.
Yeah, I'll take some off for you, Aqua.
You
Please.
could do a cleaning thing on me, Moss. I really don't like this feeling.
Can't.
I don't think I can.
I got you. I got you. I'll
Yeah, you
wave
don't have
my
prestidigitation.
arcane
Moss,
glove.
Moss just looks at you now. I was like, I can't do that anymore.
Right. Well, better to ask.
I forgot.
Oh.
So funny.
Yeah, Moss's clothes look like shit.
I would have offered. Never mind. I wouldn't have.
No, I wouldn't.
I'm just gonna let Soren take some of the samples, and then I'm gonna use my water to just push it all off.
Yeah, Soren gets another vial, so I'm gonna add another. Maybe.
Ooh.
Easily enough. The rest of your journey goes off without a hitch.
Or.
Again, you guys rest for the night. If there's any conversations or preparations, even guys, we were talking about it in between sessions a little bit. In these downtime activities where I don't want us to be narrating travel for 3 sessions because that's not entertaining for anybody. If you guys even want to talk above board, out of character, and decide, you know, even just for our audience to kind of get an idea of what you guys are going to attempt to do even, what's the plan? When you guys get to the Epoch Valley, who's doing what? What are you guys trying to accomplish as a group, as individuals?
Yeah.
Feel free to talk outside of character or in character, whatever's easier. Just so that you guys are on the same page, stepping into a celestial land.
Moss.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So you hope to, I'm assuming, get your powers back from your mother. Anything else you would like to accomplish while we are here?
Well, that's a good question.
Well, hopefully I'd like to convince her that this miserable attempt at trying to do my job has backfired and should try it all over again with something completely different. And since she has so generously bragged about her ability to manipulate Feywild portals, perhaps she can help us with Yolanda and expedite the process. But knowing my mother, her ego might precede any of that.
Ooh, if it doesn't work, what are we going to do?
Well, I don't foresee us being in any danger, but I'm not entirely certain what exactly we'll do if she doesn't help us. Besides, inevitably, you know, inevitably having to rally the entire Feywild against, you know. But that's taking things 100 steps down the line.
And how should we proceed in addressing, like, should we stay silent? Should she even accept talk from us?
That's a good point.
Tomas looks over the group. Well, she'd let you speak, probably, and she'd probably find Aqua amusing, believe it or not.
But
Really?
the rest of us, she would not care.
Entirely, she's rather indifferent to other people unless they have, you know, business. But because you're all friends of mine, it might be entirely different. She just, you know, would go out of her way to be cold and indifferent to strangers in the past, so...
Has she laughed often?
What are things you would typically laugh at?
So she'll... Moss, are you telling me there's a challenge for me?
I mean...
Should I try to make her smile?
You might be the
You're
last smile
welcome
you see.
to try, but, and I say but, a heavy but, that you need to at least wait until I've hashed things out first.
It might be the last smile you see.
Oh, that's a good point.
Seconds
Horrifying.
before disaster.
Remember that we are dealing with a living god here, Aqua.
Yeah.
Yes, but she's
Is
still
she
my
a god
mother.
or just wanna be god? Because there are
She's a
different.
living god.
Please
Oh,
ask
okay.
her if she's a wannabe god, though.
I don't know if that's a great thing to ask.
I don't think
She created me, so that's close enough.
Oh goodness.
Oh my
Isn't that wow? Music,
my God.
timing.
All right.
Isn't that like?
I'm so sorry. I'm trying to find a specific. Oh my god, it's so loud. I'm trying to find a
Silly
specific
Tyler.
song. I'm sorry.
But I mean, like, my mom
Honestly, I'm
created
feeling it for a little
me.
bit.
I don't think he
Not-
means born.
No, I was not born
Oh,
in
were
the traditional
manufactured.
sense.
so you weren't born to be what?
I'm sorry.
Stop.
Yeah. All right, that's fair.
Get out.
Ross kind of like stops for a minute. Yes, in a weird sense of the word. I was created with the job of negotiating and uniting people. But I was the only one created at like a smaller age than the other two.
Oh.
So you were, like, in a sense, born by manufacture. Like, so
I was created with full faculties at the ripe size of a adolescent furbolg.
which is
I'd
roughly.
imagine like 10 or 12, something around there.
Why
Okay.
are you a furbolg and your brother is a dragon?
Well, Gregorius's job is inherently more violent than mine is, so he was given the shape of a dragon to complement said
And-
tasks.
And she felt this form suited your task. Not judging, but it was more of like her preference. Like,
I'd
soft and
assume so.
because she could have chosen anything, and it's interesting she picked that.
You
It's-
could have been a rat king.
I
You
could have been a kobold. She
Yeah, you
talks
could have
about
been
almost
tiny,
having
very
made
tiny.
she's talked about almost having made me an owlin before, so
Ooh.
That's
but
interesting.
you know, I'm
Ooh, is that
comfortable
The
as
little cat
is.
people.
Does Moss have a belly button? Oh God, Mark. That's
You'll never
I was
know.
just about to ask someone in
You'll
character
never
to
know.
ask that.
no, you know what? Canonically, no.
It's just like a
All right,
cut
so-
out hole.
All right, that's too
It's
much.
supposed to
Get
be.
out of here.
Plan. Just to have it straight, we're asking for help with Yolanda, your magic back,
Yep.
passage to the Cathedral of the Oracles, mayhaps. And if
Yes.
not, we
I
could.
can ask for that. Yes, and if she doesn't agree to stop her hostile takeover of the Feywild coup, if she doesn't
No.
help us with our personal journey, then that's just kind of
Then we ignore the taking over the Feywild if she helps us personally.
no. We don't ignore. I won't ignore that. I mean,
You
if she
think-
helps us, we'll do that first, and then we'll go back to the.
So there's 4 items we're asking for, one of which is please stop trying to become an all-powerful deity of the Feywild.
More like, please stop forcing the Feywild to fight the gods.
Don't fight
Or it's just
Starmom.
like, oops, I might have taken that out of her hands.
Okay.
So,
Well, and even then, I'm not entirely opposed to a war against Kyella and her children if that's what has to happen. But the terms of which this has been drafted upon are non-existent and an absolute joke to my literal existence.
So it's okay if she just writes a better contract?
If she actually negotiates and comes to terms with each group in the Feywild, rather than
Rather than being an authoritarian about it, she
yeah.
I'm not a
Mm.
dictator.
more.
I
of
was
a-
created to democratically unite the Feywild, and this goes exactly against everything I was created and did do.
Right.
She may have missed you more than she lets on.
So the Feywild
Aw.
is fracturing and she's just rallying everyone to fight the gods instead to bring them all back together.
You know,
Because
that's
you've been gone for 100 years?
that I didn't think of it like that, but it's entirely plausible. She's obviously been hiding this from me for however long it's been going on, with literally withholding information and being sneaky.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is our focus the personal journeys first? Just want to make sure we have that all clear. What's most important to us?
Getting Moss's powers back?
Okay.
Well, I guess most importantly for what we need to do for our next course of action is get to your professor and get Yolanda and kill her. As for importance on the grand scale of life and death in the universe, the Feywild is a little important.
That's gonna be the title of your memoir when you die.
Life, death, in the universe.
The grand scale of the of life, death, and the universe.
Please let that be the title of Moss's memoir.
Okay, so Kuna first, Yolanda, magic back for you. Don't fight the Star Mommy. Gotcha. So we're straight.
Well, it's more of, do we even know that they are fighting the Star Mommy? I don't like saying that.
Yeah, you do.
I already have one, and she's a blood mommy.
That's true. Blood Mommy is better than Star Mommy.
Yeah.
Don't come at Kyla like that.
Hey, Star Mommy sucks. She killed 70% of the population.
Star Mommy?
I have a frog daddy, but like, that's
Oh no! I don't know how you feel about Frog Daddy, honestly.
Is that Greg?
No, it's Nog.
We don't know if it's a particular Amers who is fighting in this war.
Say that again, Soren. Sorry.
We don't know if they are fighting the Star Mother. It could just be the 9.
Right. Or agents of, like, angels like the one you had mentioned you saw. Okay. Do you think you can talk her out of it, Moss?
I think I could, at the very least, convince her that her means of going about it is utterly ridiculous, but to be entirely honest, I don't have high expectations of her coming around. It's winter for a reason.
Right.
It's mostly just hopeful conjecture and idealistic posing.
Okay. As long as we don't sign ourselves up for a cross-plane or war, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
You can ask nicely.
No, we won't be roped into the warfare. Just maybe unintentionally roped into the politics.
That's worse.
It is actually.
Yeah, I'm not good in it.
All right. You guys go to bed.
Good night.
Good night.
Is that 5th? 5?
This will be the 5th long rest. Who's given me the D100? Definitely not a D20.
I got it. I got it.
I converted it. Give me that D100.
You get the next one. You
Okay,
said
okay.
D100 or
Yeah.
D20?
Yeah.
D100. I definitely meant D100 for the first one. So I converted a 15 into a 75 since that's...
Come on. I need a new pair of shoes. 43.
43. Let's see if that gets you a new pair of shoes.
A new pair of
It
clogs.
gives you a brand new car.
Damn it. Now I gotta pay more in car insurance.
I gotta put taxes on that thing. Fuck.
Number 5. Remember, guys, 5.
Fifth
Five.
night.
I wrote it down.
5. 5.
5.
You
long
are
rests.
woken early in the morning, earlier than even before, by the smell of burning wood
Oh no.
and crackling.
Oh
nearby.
no. No, don't, not again.
In the distance, you hear the centaurs battling something already.
Patria 1 flashbacks. My house is on fire again!
Rip Crowley.
Yeah, that's why Kyella really needs to die. She killed Crowley.
Okay, what are you guys doing? You hear the sound of fire and fighting in the
Running
distance.
towards the sound of fire and fighting.
I'm used to waking up and going to fight, so let's do this.
How far away is it?
Give me a perception check.
Like, is it close? Are we snuggling it? 13 perception.
The fire is fairly far away. You see it in the distance, kind of as a backdrop, lighting up what appears to be a group of half a dozen or so centaurs fighting a monstrously large wolf. Easily 40 feet tall and about 90 feet long. They are being harried quite well by this wolf, who appears to be attacking the centaurs directly.
Niall freezes.
I have a spell. Sorry.
What I was expecting?
Do the other centaurs at our camp seem concerned?
Yes, they are preparing to leave.
No, I don't have a spell.
You see Lyra and the king hurriedly barking orders at the other dozen or so centaurs who stayed back. You catch enough information to hear that the centaurs fighting the wolf are the distraction so that you guys can get away.
Oh.
No.
So they're okay, so they don't want us to help. We're running. I was about to like Dream Reaper this wolf for a second
You
there.
can absolutely do that.
You have a choice.
I trust the king's judgment.
I was gonna say
I trust the king. You know, that's
How,
also fair.
Can I
it takes us a week to get to where we gotta go, right?
tell if it's sentient or not, the wolf?
From this distance, you are just seeing a bestial creature fight. You're not.
I just meant like with my weird
if you want to shift
Reaper.
into the Dream Reaper form and see what you can see.
Oh sure, I'll just
Oh, I hate it. Every single time I hate it. I don't know why I ask. Yeah, give me an insight check. Plus
That
9 in
is-
Reaper form.
+9. I rolled a 10, so 19.
19. This creature appears to be protecting something.
Protecting something.
There's something on the ground below it that it is not moving farther past from this fixed point.
Can I see what's on the ground?
From your distance, unfortunately not. Even with your height.
Can I try? Is it within 120 feet?
It would be just on the edge, maybe.
Okay, I'll just like step a little bit closer, and then I'll try and Fey dominance the wolf.
Okay.
So it needs to make a sanity saving throw.
One moment, please. Didn't
Or
think
it
you
is-
guys would attack or get in a position to attack.
I mean, I'm not attacking. This isn't an attack. This is a, you know,
It's a nice little tickle. It's all good.
It's a little bit of a break.
It's a charm.
Tickle.
If it fails, it's charmed by me for 24 hours.
Just pulling up his good old stat book, you know. Sanity save, correct?
Yes.
Oh, I actually did give it a sanity save. Let's go. What's the DC?
18.
18.
Terrible.
That is a natural 15 for a total of 26.
Oh,
thing is
wait,
sane as
whoa!
hell.
All right, never
Tickle of the
mind.
wolf.
All right,
This
Sane as
terrifying
hell.
creature has proficiency in sanity saves.
This thing is sane as hell.
Sane as hell.
I put the mask back on and turned back into Moss, and I'm like, right. Turns around and starts walking away.
Just starts walking away, Jack Sparrow style.
Guys, it didn't work.
Guys, it didn't work.
That is
This
something
wolf can rationalize
much
anything.
more than I was expecting.
When this wolf is very rational.
This wolf does not get fucked around.
This wolf has never done drugs in their life.
Nope. You guys
Didn't
flee
expand their
with the
horizons.
remaining centaur pack. Give me a... No, actually, what's going to happen is we are going to make a group skill challenge. You guys are running across open field. It will not take long for this wolf to dispatch a measly half-dozen centaurs.
Oh, God.
You guys need to tell me what each of you are doing to help speed up the journey or keep the wolf distracted behind you. You need 3 successes total, and 2 failures in a row will call for combat.
Well,
Distraction. I have a summon beast.
Okay. Let's look at summon beast really quick. A 2nd level spell. You can
Yeah,
summon
I think it's only a small beast.
a bestial spirit. It is a small creature.
So I don't think it'll be good enough.
However, I think
it's better than nothing.
you can. So what you could do, and you would know this ability, you could create a air spirit and kind of make it fly in its face, kind of like a dog swatting at a fly on the wall, and try to distract it that way if you'd like. That might work.
I'd love that.
Okay, what does it look like as you summon an air spirit?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Okay, so this thing, it looks like a mixture of an owl and an eagle. So like, it's got, you know, like the barn owls that they got, like, no, not barn owls. You got, you know, the horned owls that's got like those little things sticking out of the top of his heads.
Yeah, those horns. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got those
yeah.
big beady eyes like an owl, and it can still turn its head around like an owl, but it's got like the long big beak of an eagle. And
It's
then
awful. That is
and it's
so
just as
cursed.
big as like an eagle can get, like a bald eagle can get.
Awesome. Give me a performance check to distract the wolf.
Natural 20, please. Naga. That's a 10.
10. Okay.
That is a fail.
That is one failure. As
Can I-
the wolf spirit or the wolf creature sees this awful amalgamation of owl and eagle fly into its face, and in a quick just swallows it, and you feel the spirit die.
Oh, no.
That's one failure. Who's doing what next?
I'm going to. Oh fuck! I can get me and like 2 other people maybe ahead, but that's about it. Oh wait! Oh,
shit.
I'm gonna lay down the ever-smoking bottle, and the command word is actually I'm gonna hold it so it's like a jet, just like on us, like a smoke.
Okay.
And the command word is just fucking smoke.
Smoke.
Sworn's not the most creative. But I'm
Give
just
me
it's
the
gonna
properties of that. It's a 60-foot radius of smoke
Yeah.
obscuring the area.
I'm gonna tell everyone to stay near me, grab on to me, or stay within like 10 feet so you can see me.
I'm grabbing.
But I'm not gonna light anything because I'm going to also. Can I also put the dancing lights and combine them into a glowing person?
Sure.
In the smoke and just leave it behind us.
Absolutely, yeah. I will say too, it is a 60-foot radius sphere, so that's upwards as well. So you've created this massive dome of magically fogged up area, and every minute it'll expand by 10 feet until it reaches a maximum radius of 120 feet. So are you carrying it with you, or are you going to drop it and use it as like a blocker?
I'm gonna carry it with us for now because I just feel like it's 120, but like after a little bit, it'll be like, oh, they're within this, like eventually. But then I'm gonna like drop it, but using the glowing person to kind of slow the beast down, so we can kind of get a head start.
Sure. The beast is not chasing you yet, so you have that glowing person ready to go. But in the meantime, I'm gonna say I need a group stealth check with advantage because you are heavily obscured.
Oh, let's
I know if not
for advantage.
Why wouldn't you?
Because Niall is terrified right now.
Oh, are you screaming terrified? Do you want?
No, but he's like visibly shaken, which is more than he usually is.
It's a phobia of wolves.
Okay.
Phobia of dogs.
Give me a sanity saving throw then before you roll stealth.
Okie dokie.
You got, like,
Also, I rolled
Mr.
with
Fox
advantage
over-
for the general centaurs, and they rolled like shit.
Oh no.
Forgot what's
I
my
got
sanity.
21.
21 with advantage, Aqua.
I got a dirty
Yes.
20, a slutty 20.
Slutty 20, I hate it.
Oh,
Nico, what did you get?
I got nat 20 for 21.
Oof, okay. Moss, what'd you get?
A 15.
15,
total.
okay. Niall, sanity save.
I got an 11.
So you do have disadvantage, so it's a straight stealth check for you.
Cool. That's a nat 1.
oh my goodness gracious!
So
I
it's
just had to
6.
be afraid of dogs.
That is an
I've been afraid,
average.
like-
That even with a nat 1 being an auto fail, that is a average between all of you and the centaurs of 15 versus creature's perception check. Okay, that is one success. Who is doing what next?
Ooh.
How close is the creature to us?
At this point, you are heavily obscured, so you can't see the creature. But based on
Right.
where it was when the fog started, it is about 150 feet away. You imagine that's not a problem to catch up with, though, with its size.
Can I cast Major Image?
Oh, shit. You can. Give us a second, though. Nico, did you want to try something?
Yeah.
Nope, I am not in range.
Okay. Okay, you're gonna. So you might do something if the creature starts getting closer. I'll come back to you if that happens. Perfect. Moss, Major Image, going into the Dream Reaper's form, I imagine.
Yeah, just
Every time, I hate it every single time.
Yucky.
Yes, concentration for 10 minutes. You
is
can
that the-
create something
that's a duration. Okay. I was
for
like,
a 20-foot cube, no larger than a 20-foot cube. What do you create?
I'm going to create a replica of the party, and have them all like posed and ready to fight, standing in the middle of the road, making noises and like, come at us, yeah.
Okay.
Just a constant gunshot sound effect from Niall.
Okay. Interesting verbiage on Major Image. An image appears at a spot that you can see. You are currently in a heavily obscured cloud.
I'm leaving it behind me. Oh,
So, well, if you
Okay,
leave it
so you
behind us,
could
leave
do it
there.
on yourself
Yeah.
and then run
As the
through
smoke
it.
of the people
pretty
Okay.
much is what I'm
there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's more of a pop-up effect that will happen when
Yeah.
the smoke clears.
Yeah.
Okay, love it,
It'll
love
be
it.
like we're ready to get him.
So with that, you will not roll yet because the effect hasn't actually caused anything yet. But at that point, I imagine. Actually, I never rolled. How long did it take? Yes, no. At this point, the wolf has defeated the centaurs and is running in your direction. I will tell you, the wolf has a movement speed of 80. Which means with an action, it can get 160 feet in a round. Which it does.
What's the speed on the Reaper?
The Reaper is...
Because there's no on the stat plug. It doesn't have any.
let me check on Foundry, because I actually don't see it on the stat plug. It is
Out on his back and run.
45 feet.
45.
Yeah, so the wolf is able to get 160 feet in your direction. I said you guys were roughly 200 feet away, which means it enters the cloud of smoke. At this point, you feel and hear the creature behind you, Nico. What would you like to do?
Is it within 120 feet?
You hear it pretty close, so probably.
Okay, I'm going to cast
My illusion has
slow.
120 foot range, so.
We'll get there. Go ahead, Nico.
No, that's what I mean is if they can cast the same range, sorry.
I'm gonna cast slow on the wolf. I can alter time up to 6 creatures of your choice within a 40-foot cube within range. Does not specify I need to be able to see them. So since I can perceive it through hearing it, and I'm gonna use my portent and give it the 4 on the wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's nothing in there about the size of the creature being a problem. That is madness. So a 4 on the wisdom save brings it to a total of a failure. It definitely fails.
Oh, okay, good. I was like,
No, it's not that wise. It is intelligent. It is not wise. So what are the effects of slow?
So for 1 minute, up to 1 minute, as long as I maintain concentration, speed is halved, -2 to AC, and dex saving throws, and it cannot use reactions. Can take either an action or a bonus action.
Gotcha. So its speed is 40, whereas your guys' is 30, but 60 if you dash. You guys can lose this thing. It can. If it doesn't do an action, it can action dash, but that's the only thing it could do.
When I teleport, can I teleport people that I'm like have a hold of with me?
No, it is single creature.
Oh, okay.
But at this point, as it's reacting to suddenly being galloping in slow motion, it happens upon the Mirage party. It is going to make an insight check versus your DC to see if it can to see through the illusion. Your DC as the creature is 18, I believe.
Yeah, upgrade.
Okay. Just making an insight check, which is wisdom. Let's see. That's a natural 1. That is the third success. As you guys hear this weird slowing of the creature, you hear it snarl and bite out at some sort of illusion that you saw the Dream Reaper place, and you guys book it. Do you ever drop the smoke cloud, or do you keep it with you?
I think after did the sound dissipate of the
You guys
wolf?
are getting further away.
Okay, then after that, I would drop it because it's like kind of like a 120 foot roughly target on us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it would just like, actually, yeah, I would drop the smoke and it would slowly go back into the bottle.
Okay. You guys continue traveling, having lost the ancient wolf of the east.
Did I recognize the wolf?
Give me a history check. There's a lot of shit in the Feywild. You might have.
Like, by the epoch specifically.
Getting close to it.
Oh, okay. That was natural 19 for 22.
22. This is distinctly something you have never seen before.
Oh, cool.
It is new. A new addition. Perhaps
Yeah.
increased security.
What color is it?
It was black.
Oh.
No starlight emanating from it or anything like that. You guys continue traveling southward, away from the dawn.
Yeah.
So we lost all the centaurs, or just?
No, about 6 of them out of the 20 or so that were originally traveling with you. So the king,
Who was
Lyra,
with it?
King and Lyra are with you, and another dozen or so centaurs.
Okay, what did the centaurs do to distract us while we were?
They're just fighting.
They fought it.
They just
and died.
They just died,
Yeah,
basically.
they sacrificed 6 of their people. I think they get a pass.
Yeah.
The king doesn't. The people who sacrifice
King
themselves
doesn't.
do.
Yeah, you guys get away.
The king's like,
In
"Peace."
this moment, who is going to roll a D100 for the day? Because that was just what you woke up to.
At 43, fucked us.
Yeah.
Now I was too busy
That's
curving.
also
Honestly, it was a pretty fun though.
down.
He put the face back down. Okay.
It's very creative.
So wait, so the other D100 was for what we woke up to, but now
Yes.
the new D100 is for what the day's gonna be.
Correct.
There's more than just one danger
God.
in
No
the
more
Feywild
dogs.
per day.
There are multiple dangers in the Feywild, and
Everything is dangerous, even the trees.
the quicker you learn that, the better off you'll be.
Okay, no one let me roll a D100 again because I got a 3.
Ah, you're doing great.
It's fine. There's
got a
100
3 though.
options.
Low could be good.
Could be good.
You don't know.
We just want all the extremes.
I just know Tyler when it goes
Because
to
I got a
either
43.
really low or really high.
I got a 43, which
that's
is like
false.
about half.
That's
Maybe
not
half
true.
is the worst. Maybe
That's not
like
true.
around 50 is the worst, and the like bell
Other
the
ranges.
bell-shaped curve, they're the best, and then the middle and like the bell-shaped curve of the D100 is the worst.
But what if it? Yeah, my brain's going like one way
Those are
could
the most
be
likely rows.
really really good, shitty.
really, really bad.
Or get this, it could all be bullshit.
It'd be random.
Dungeons and
That's true.
Dragons.
He could already know what he's doing.
It's literally, there's
Just
just
roll
5
for
things
nothing
on my
in all
list, and I'm just
ranges.
giving you guys some adrenaline. You'll never know. You'll never fucking know.
My nightmare.
You guys travel throughout the day. The full second day's journey goes by without a hitch. On the evening of the second full day of travel, you guys bed down and get ready for another totally normal sleep. You're going to wake up to no wolves this time. Everything is going to be great.
We will not lose more centaurs.
This will be
6
sleep
nights.
6, yes. Nico, what are you up to?
Oh no.
Nothing bad. I want to be finding exceptionally large pieces of the amber glass-like grass? Question mark.
Okay.
And trying to see if I can turn the hummingbird poop into maybe. She recommended distilling it, so maybe if through that process I can get like a gummy, maybe an adhesive. And trying to see if with that and the tools and other such things that I carry with me all the time, if I can see if I can build something to fill Mork's head hole.
Okay.
Using the pieces
Woo.
of the Feywild, for better or worse.
Now, I had previously described the hummingbird shit as a mixture of morphine and LSD.
Yeah, this
So-
is fine.
Holy moly.
So,
Orca's about to be.
It's fuck.
Crowd control to
using
Major Mork.
your innate abilities through your all-purpose glove, give me an alchemy tool check, which will just be a intelligence plus your proficiency. As you take out a kit of basic alchemist supplies and begin the process of distilling the poop.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20 will do it, absolutely. It doesn't take too long, and you distill off most of the potency, the liquid form, and what you're left with, you can keep that for later. What you're left with is the cotton candy, basically. You're left with like the sticky webbing material that in itself is still smelling sweet, so there is still some potency to it, but it is definitely more sticky as it has lost a lot of its moisture. Think of it as like a cotton candy Velcro. Is really the best way I can describe it, which is terrible, but that's what it is.
Why is their poop so fibrous?
Can you imagine digesting that? That must be awful.
God. Cotton candy Velcro.
Cotton candy Velcro. Go ahead and just give me a tinkering check to adhere this, as well as several large shards of amber into the head of our dear Morky boy.
Maybe we pick some different materials that'll give him different personality traits. Ooh, 26.
26. Mission accomplished. He looks fantastic. And especially with his little hat that he was crafted by Aqua, the like flower crown hat that made him a colonel, I think I said. He's looking dapper, and he's no longer sparking, which is either because you fixed it or because it's sparking internally and will eventually light him on fire. But either way, he looks great. Doesn't appear to act any differently, at least not right away. Seems happy. He seems to be like testing it, and he like ting 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 of the metal, and then like the weird like not quite metallic sound of like banging on glass, where it's clearly still a different material, but it is like glass. And he seems satisfied. He doesn't thank you. He doesn't like react, but he's just like, hey, look at me. I got a glass head.
And I got my new hat. He's just still feeling himself after the hat.
He's just feeling himself. Mork is like, he's ready to go.
I'll fish around in my pockets of things and pull out a little pile of screws and be like, thanks for sitting still for this. You're gonna have to tell me how this goes, and then I'm gonna feed him like you'd feed like a zoo animal, like through the bars. So I'll feed him some screws, just little snacks.
Give me an animal handling check, I guess.
I just want him to be happy.
I know, you're doing your best.
10.
He eats it. You feel as you're like holding it for him to like chew and then swallow, it like cracks one of his teeth. Which has happened before. They grow back. Yeah. It's very weird. And he kind of spits it out, but then swallows the screw. He seems to like it. Similar to recent times that you're feeding him, for the next few hours, you will hear a clanking on the inside of him as the screw does not digest. He eventually just spits it out. But he loves it.
Adorable. Perfect.
Everything's great.
If I were to cast Ritually Detect Magic and just kind of look at Mork, because I assume I've done this before, does he look any different? Have any different properties? Does fusing that piece to his head do anything?
There's no different properties. I will say the enchantment magic that he usually emanates is stronger. It is glowing brighter.
Ooh. Interesting. Work in progress. Now don't break it. Don't break it, Mork. Or if you do, it'll probably be something else I fill your head with. We'll figure it out. Thank you.
Absolutely. If there's nothing else for the night, we wake on the 6th rest in the Feywild. A number of things are noticeable upon waking up. One, Lyra and the king are already finished eating. They appear to be sharing a cask of ale in the early morning. Frustrated.
Is this different than
Yeah, there's a somber feeling around the camp. There appears to have been a ceremony that you guys were not invited to.
Makes sense.
Of thanking the centaurs who gave their lives so that you guys could escape. King, the king stands and, after sighing and taking in that you guys have joined them, nods to all of you and says, "We'll arrive in the Epoch Valley just after noon.
That was a week? What?
And Mr. Moongrove, whatever it is you wish to accomplish, I hope it's worth it.
I hope so too. But I'm certain that it will be.
He nods. And you guys head another day's travel. Who's given me the D100? Who hasn't rolled yet? Niall and Nico?
Nico and Naya, yeah.
Alright, you guys decide. Doesn't matter to me.
Go ahead.
Okay.
One of you rolled 100 and one of you rolled the other number.
One of you condemns us. Who will it be?
Who will it be?
Just think.
One of you gets to choose how we die.
Think low.
What'll it be, folks?
There's two monsters in the
Let's
bottom.
execution.
Think safety.
Frog
For
monster.
giggles.
I don't like this evil look on Niall's face either. You guys are all crazy.
Think safety. Think safety.
Think safety.
Just think. Just
That's a
think.
10.
Think.
10. A low 10.
It was very confusing because I just saw zeros.
And then you saw 1.
You guys begin your journey. As was proclaimed by the king, a little after the sun hits the highest point in the sky, which seems to take longer than it has on previous days, you begin to see the white gates of the Epoch Valley. A towering wall of bone white pillars, surrounded not with guards, not with fortressed walls, but with a webbing of twilight thread stretching between each pillar that stands 40 feet tall and over 100 feet apart. A webbing of constellations protects the Epoch Valley from any who wish to do it harm.
Moss, are those the threads of fate or just all of the stars in the sky?
Do I know?
This is a material that your mother uses frequently. You have not dared ponder on where she gets it from or what it is.
You know, I haven't actually inquired. She always seems to be in a somber mood when using it, though, so... I thought best leave it be. But I was told the door would be open, so...
As he says that, you look around, you don't see any entrance, you don't see a pathway that would lead to an entrance. But you are approaching rapidly as the centaurs have not given up their pace that forces you to almost sprint for most of the day. Something that is not easy.
My legs are so small.
Put you on my shoulders.
At one point, Moss just gives up hiding, like, sparing the centaurs, and just and then crawls on the ground as the Reaper, just to save energy.
I don't think they want to attack you.
You guys approach the wall. As you get within 100 or so feet of it, you all feel this odd sensation. The sun was just above you, and yet when you look up, you see an endless constellation.
Ooh.
A series of stars that, when dotted together and plotted, show a series of discs slightly overlapping. And in the center of them is a larger disc. Moss, you recognize this not as the symbol of the ascendancy, but as a older symbol that depicts what the Eladrin of the Feywild see as the planar setup. And instead of the material plane being center, it is the Feywild, with the shadow realm and the material plane acting as opposites of it. Very odd to be seeing that as the constellation welcoming you home to the Epoch Valley.
Yeah, just a little weird. They might be. Was it the same orientation last time?
It's usually a very different set of constellations. It is usually either the symbol of the ascendancy or a banner representing various things, such as the house that you were representing at the time. It's usually like a welcome mat. It is usually symbolic.
Right, yeah.
So it's something.
This is not normal.
You said it was something like representing the material plane.
Yeah, it's very similar to how theologists in the material plane depict the material plane in the middle with the Feywild above and the shadow realm below as kind of echoes of the material plane. And then the elemental planes are encircling it. In between the elemental planes are the ethereal plane. And then on the outside is the astral sea. This is much different. It shows the Feywild centered, with the 9 hells and the abyss being part of the inner circle.
Is your muzzle trying to shift the center of the planes? Don't know enough about them to know if there's an actual true center, but if she's trying to shift the balance between the planes.
I mean, I don't know what the significance of doing that would be, but I'd imagine if she found a way to do it and it would benefit her, she's probably trying to do it.
And she can...
And I'm not putting anything off the table at this point.
Regardless, it's a show of power, right? It's perception.
Probably. It's just weird because usually this is a really nice thing to look at before you walk in, and now it's whatever this
used to be nice to look at, so now it's just...
Well, it didn't used to be a constellation of all of the planes. It used to just be like a picture or a saying. You know.
A brand slogan, you know. Sponsored by.
Sponsored by Mardune.
Sponsored by Mardune. The realms of Mardune.
Does this show to everyone who approaches Moss, or is it individual to the person, or the people, or the group?
Shows to everyone, right?
Yeah, typically, no one gets this close to the gates unless they are summoned. And so it is usually set up to be, like I said, like a welcome mat for whoever is expected.
Is she trying to tell us something?
Well,
out.
I mean, usually it's a welcome mat for basically whoever's showing up. We would change it to accommodate whomever. Whoa. Something I actually considered, suggested at one point, and she actually did it, was when we would have emissaries over, we'd show their banners and make them feel important. You know, all the subtle manipulations of politics.
And you don't know what this could mean.
Either it's a statement, a threat, or a really bad art project.
Or a dream.
Or a really inaccurate diagram. And Moss will start walking. Whatever it is, I'm sure we can find out and make fun of them for it.
Well, I don't think I would, if it is your mother's idea, I don't think she would appreciate us making fun of her.
You know, whatever doesn't get us killed. I'd like to go with that option.
Ooh, that's a good one.
You guys walk towards the webbing. No gate in sight. Trusting Moss to know how to enter his homeland. And I think right there at the top of the hour is a perfect spot to go to break.
Yeah.
We will be back in 15 minutes. So stick tight. We're gonna take a full 15, get some bio breaks, some food, some schnackums, and we will be back in 15. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining in so far.
I'm gonna fight a mongoose.
Let me know what you think in chat. What you think? What's gonna happen? Meeting the Lady of Nights. See you guys soon.
Please. Please. Help.
Please.
Help me.
Please help. All right. Bring it in. I'm gonna call Mac bursting into laughter, him breaking.
No, I was mostly just like trying to commit to like the bit. Of,
Commit to the bit.
Commit to it.
Bubbly fell asleep. Actually, this is how Bubbly sleeps. Just imagine there's a pillow like in the nook of their elbow. That's how they sleep every single night.
Actually in rigor mortis right now.
Oh no!
Oh my god.
Wait, my camera froze.
Oh, I think your camera. No, your camera's not frozen. I can feel you
Not in
breathe. I can
freeze.
see you breathing. You're like slowly.
I can feel you breathing. Oh my
You're
god.
like you're in a freaking
not to move your jaw.
you're in a Nintendo
camera
Idol
goes.
animation where your character's just doing this.
I think the camera's cheesy.
Oh, welcome back, everybody. We have fun here, all right?
Hi.
D&D's fun and great. Everything's gonna be good. We come back, entering the gates of
Hell.
the Epoch Valley. Moss, it's always a little different on how you enter the Epoch Valley. You know it is a matter of willpower and not necessarily permission. As you turn around to your friends, welcome them forward, and step back, you guys watch as Moss is lifted off the ground and becomes part of the constellation behind the gate.
Just goes.
He's just blows away like stardust on the wind. It's pretty dope.
Oh,
Okay, then.
Let's follow.
I guess
Alright,
because
never
he's
mind.
human.
Turn into stardust.
Wait, we never even asked him if it's okay for us to go in.
He just
Because
had a
like he
smug
was
smile on
created.
his
We
face.
were all born.
Yeah, I'm gonna go too.
Okay.
Soren and Niall, do you go head first or do you turn around and do like the weird thing that Moss did?
I'm not that extra, sorry.
Yeah, you
No,
just
I
walk
just
in. Okay.
Yeah, that's not right.
Yours looks even a little sillier because you're still in a walking animation as you get pulled into the sky. So you're like, you know that scene in Harry Potter? I know, terrible series.
Yes.
But you know what I'm talking about when they come through the
It's not a
portal
terrible series.
to the football game. It is. We'll fight about it after it's fine. But as they come out of the portent and they're all doing this as they land on the ground, that's what you look like as you're riding through
so
the
glad.
sky. You and Soren dematerialize into starlight.
I like to go head first.
You swan dive in.
I just straight up dive.
Just smack your head on the wall.
No.
belly flop.
The centaurs begin to shuffle in slowly. They're not in a huge rush to jump in. Nico.
I'll hold Mark's little hand on my shoulder just to make sure we don't get separated and walk in as well.
Okay.
Greg.
The lot of you are transposed. To you guys, nothing changes. You walk through the wall and enter into the incredibly gorgeous garden. Moss, what does the moon grove look like?
So imagine like a one of those gardens that's a bunch of like bushes and stuff, but they're all covered in vines that are sprouting these lily-looking flowers that glow like moonlight. And everything looks like all of the architecture that arches and separates any of the flora is very wiry and silvery white with the vines growing around them.
The one thing that stands out as different to you, Moss, is the level of care has fallen in the gardens.
Oh,
the
no.
Head gardener, your sister, seems to have slackened on her duties or is otherwise dispatched elsewhere. There are creatures.
Our army of satyrs.
There are creatures who are tending to the various fields, but the care and aura that your sister dominated in these gardens is obviously lacking.
She never leaves.
Moon Grove stretches for hundreds of feet in every direction, including behind you. You see as the centaurs and Nico, with Mork on her shoulder, land behind. You are not on the edge of anything. You are standing firmly in the garden. You have arrived at the Moss. You recognize this area as the pond of lily petals that can be walked upon with a graceful foot that lead to one of the many orchards of different fruits and gardening areas that one can find here, all growing perfectly under the everlasting moonlight of the Epoch Valley. In the distance, not too far away, maybe about 350 feet away, you see a palace of black and pale white marbled moonstone. It is said to be... Moonstone is said to be directly harvested from the moon that exploded or was used as a weapon in the Age of Heroes that led into Mother's Mercy. Seems to have been harvested and brought here to form the palace, or was used as inspiration and created out of divine right by the Lady of Nights. The palace is a gargantuan monument to the throne of power in the Feywild. It is very much built with a regal attitude to it. There are banners of purple, midnight-colored fabrics on all the windows that are hundreds of feet long, stretching down the sides of the palace. The entryway is massive. There is no single man door. There is a gate that is large enough, as maybe your guide Moss mentions, for a ancient dragon to ponder through. There is a clear pathway in multiple directions, one beelining directly for the Palace of Night, and others taking you through the gardens. Where do you lead your friends, Moss?
Probably just straight to the palace. Moss is kind of already unsettled by the fact that the Moon Grove isn't being tended to by his sister, so he's already like, this is getting more and more suspicious and creepier.
Very well. You guys follow in a tight
kind of like a staggered line.
A tight staggered line. If everyone could please give me a quick perception check, please.
I got a 24.
24, okay.
I got a 15.
15.
9 plus 6.
Not bad, not bad. Go ahead and yell it out, guys. Whatever else you guys got.
Got a 5.
Got a 5, okay. Niall.
Wait. What?
Did you get another nat one?
No.
That's on that one, okay.
But I can't find my. Oh, there it is.
Perception.
I was like, I can't find my plus number.
Plus 6.
It's plus 6, plus 7.
I got a total
is
of
number.
13.
13.
Thank you.
If you got a 12 or higher, you feel the weight of your equipment lift as you are found to be without your armor and without your weapons. They are simply not on you anymore. Moss, this isn't typical of the Moongrove. However, you know that Pregorius does have the ability to, similar to a ceremony spell where you can mark a land for a specific purpose, Pregorius possesses the immense ability to mark an area as true neutral territory, where no aggressive action may be taken. Yes, Aqua.
My back's still covered, right?
You
This
are
is
in,
just armor.
You are in your underclothes.
Cool.
Oh. Good thing I
Got your long johns on. You're not naked, but
Cool. Just making sure the
wait,
glow
my
is
armor-
under
my
control.
AC is
I think-
now 11.
Soren would offer his cloak. to
12.
Aqua.
Never mind.
very nice. Aqua, you
Wait.
get Soren's
Wait,
big
what?
bushel cloak, which is light. It's not heavy because he's from the desert, but it is protective to keep the dust out.
It's more of it's a little bit heavier because he did switch to more like winter.
Oh,
garb.
right, when you entered the Feywild. Yeah. Your shippy cloak, absolutely.
He didn't say a single word.
Yep.
Oh, you can't walk away because
As
of
we're-
that. No.
As we're approaching the palace, I'm going to take one of the talismans that I wear and I'm going to like take it off. I'm just going to kind of subtly hand it to Soren.
Wait, what'd you hand to me?
One of the Moongrove talismans I wear.
When you
This
first
is
said
for-
it, I thought you said Talisons, and I was like, you hand him Talison Jaffe.
Here's Talison Jaffe in case you want one. I have a couple extra.
You know,
What is this for?
in case things go sideways. It
And
won't.
What do I do with it?
If I'm no longer around, make use of my name.
Okay. And you foresee it might come to that?
I would certainly hope not, but
Well, I'm sure we all would hope not, but
checking off all my boxes.
You hear a commotion from behind you as the centaurs find themselves unweaponed and unarmored. The king is immediately encircled, but they continue moving forward. You guys enter.
Oh, Moss will actually use his disguise self now as they're walking in to make his clothes look good again.
Okay, you look in your diplomacy suit.
At least for an hour. It doesn't help the smell, but
I mean, if you have any reps, I do have mending.
hey, there's a lot of teeth marks.
it's been chewed out a little bit. But yeah, you guys enter the halls of the Twilight Circle, a series of hallways that lead no matter what way you go, and I assume this is something that Moss would describe as you go. No matter what path you take, you will find yourself where you are supposed to be within this hall, and you find yourself standing in a lobby, a sitting area outside of Moss, what you know to be the throne room. Not a typical throne, not a royal throne where she sits all powerful, but rather an office where she collects a great many of things, tools, prophetic orbs to keep an eye on the borders of the Feywild
Just
and
an office
such.
desk with a bunch of knickknacks, but they're
She's just the
powerful artifacts.
CEO of the Feywild. She's just got a little office. It's fine. She's mostly work from home now, but occasionally she's in the office. You guys are seated. Moss gets you guys to sit as you wait to be summoned. You imagine being in this realm. Your mother knows you're here, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
In these final moments before the doors open, what are you guys discussing? What is the plan?
Like, it's always basically been let Moss lead since we're in his realm.
I think it's better if we don't talk.
Okay.
I might
That's
say hi.
spoken to.
Being said, if in an instance you find yourself separated from me, use that to your advantage. However you may.
So, like, snoop around in your mother's dimension.
But carefully.
You're not...
You be
Okay,
careful.
she has a magical connection to me and pretty much knows where I am at all times.
Oh, but
Yeah.
not to us, because we're not created. We're born. Right.
But don't do
Constantly
anything
reminding
too rash,
Moss
girl.
that he's a manufactured product.
He has his fucking fucking like barcode on his
made
like, arm.
in the Feywild 000001.
Mm-hmm.
I guess 02.
That being said, King, if you would like to accompany me when I receive the summons.
The king steps forward. As I said, I will join you around this meeting, but I will take your lead. Our alliance is built not on years of trust, but on honor. You have done me a service, and I will attempt to do you the same, but I will not put my herd at risk of facing the wrath of your mother.
I would never ask you to do that.
Very well.
If things seem not headed in a positive direction, I implore you, my liege, to put the safety of yourself and that of your people above all else.
Well, a few minutes go by as you are all waiting ever so patiently to be summoned. The door opens, and out walks a Eladrin man, about 7 feet tall. Very paled skin, a tinge of purple, bluish tone to the skin, almost as a effect of his station within the palace. Mr. Moongrove, it is good to see you after all these years. You recognize this individual as one of the members of the War Council, something that has not been necessary for many years, but has always been on the staff of your mother. This is Lightborn Emirate Galworn, is his name.
Emirate Galworn. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance once more.
I am happy to see that you have survived these many years. I have heard rumor that for you it has been but a blink of an eye.
Unfortunately.
I was not aware that a spawn of the Ascendancy could be impacted by the Fey temporal lines. Very odd indeed.
Between you and me, I'm not entirely certain if it wasn't intentional.
Why, yes, we will keep that between you and me. Now, as you know, your mother is not one to impress upon squabbling and fighting. You may select 2 to join you. The rest will wait outside.
Right. Moss immediately looks kind of over to Soren and Niall, then looks at who would be left, then looks back at the other 2.
Don't you want to
gotta
take the king with you?
I was gonna say, what about the king?
Oh, does the king count as one of my
He
2?
does.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll watch the kids.
He says the youngest.
Says the child with no guns.
He's basically as powerful as a 2-year-old with baby fists.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so
Give
cute.
yourself a little bit more credit.
So cute.
You're a 3-year-old
You're
With baby
You've
fists.
started one.
With
Let's
baby
be-
fists.
with toddler fists.
True.
I'm torn between, honestly, Soren or Nico. Soren, because of the information he could get and the implications. Nico, just kind of like, here is this person with the extra context.
Nico would probably, I feel like, if your mom saw how much fucking fey magic you're.
No, can we talk for a second? Listen,
Half of it.
I promise you this is not the DM trying to talk you to the decision, because bringing Nico is a
No,
very
I know.
viable option. But can you imagine what will happen to the vacuum on Nico's back if you walk into that room with the Lady of Nights?
My
How is the
poltergeist.
vacuum reacting right now? I mean, like,
You can hear it. You can hear it whirring.
You might need to clean the fan out.
Taking
Soren
6
and
filters.
the king, if you would join me.
The king will join you. He steps forward beside you.
Moss kind of straightens his jacket, and because it's an illusion and nothing moves.
I love it. Who else are you bringing? Who have you decided?
Soren?
Soren? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I said Soren and the king. If
I
you
think I
would
missed the
join.
first part. All good. All right.
All
Soren and the king step forward, flanking Moss on either side as the Lightborn Emirate Galworn
Good luck.
leads you into the Chamber of Knights. The door closes, much like those super quiet cabinet doors where you can slam it and then right before it closes really slowly. It's very
I really
dramatic.
want to throw Greg.
What are you doing?
You can try.
I was
What
thinking
do
of
you do?
throwing Greg
Hell.
and see if I can like look through his eyes.
You
No.
can hand one of us Greg, probably.
She'll know. That's a third.
Yeah, so I'm like, you know what? No.
Greg's just gonna get like Thanos snapped.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Moss is based off of how Moss described his mother. She sounds scary.
Listen, all I'm saying is
will-
I finished the stat block for Lady of Nights. If
Oh,
you
God.
fuckers bring that upon
Oh,
yourselves.
shit.
I pretend I didn't say anything. I'm just. It's fine.
What
Okay.
would Aqua do? I
Mob
don't want to
block
push you in one
confirmed.
direction or another.
Do you?
How I see it is like I hear Niall say, "I'll watch the kids." I'm getting ready to chuck Greg, and she just lowers my hand, and he lowers my hand to shaking his head, like, "No, of all times, not now."
But he would do that. That's very in character.
Yeah. Nico just like reflexively like pets Mork's foot like, good boy. Thank you for not flying in there. The doors close and the 3 of you, technically 5 if you include your friends, are left alone in the Palace of Dreams. We'll start with you. You have not seen any other creatures beside the centaurs that are now behind you, awkwardly sitting next to you. It is a very dangerous place. It is the domain of the Lady of Nights. She is currently about to initiate conversation with her son, your dear friend Soren, and the King of the Centaurs. she's distracted. Maybe. What do you guys want to do?
Explore like a child in a glass store where you're not allowed to touch anything.
And I'm watching the kids, so I'm going wherever they're going.
Did Galwarn come with us?
Yes, Galwarn led you in.
Okay.
I kind of want to treat it like a museum, you know? Like I'm just walking around, absorbing everything because I know there's no weapons on me. I lost my staff, so I can't do magic. I think. I don't know how it works. But like yeah, I would like to take a look at how pretty this place is.
Okay. You take the first couple steps of wandering off. Nico and Niall, do you follow?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The babysitter have to.
Aqua is museum shopping. The other two,
Oh no,
what are you thinking about? What is your intent? What do you hope to find, if anything at all? And I know you guys aren't familiar with this place, but it is a place where very few are invited in. What are you thinking about as you follow Aqua nervously? The centaurs do not follow, not even Lyra.
Niall is mostly thinking about the meeting that he's not a part of. He kind of wanted to be a part of it, but he didn't say anything.
Okay.
Because he doesn't like not knowing what's going on, but also he's just looking around and being like, I'm going to have a hell of a story to tell Elle about.
Absolutely. And Nico?
I'm thinking that while it's not a traditional castle, this has to have wealths of information. So I am specifically hoping that we stumble upon a library or something like that. Get me more information on the planes, specifically the plane I'm most interested in, the Feywild, and other such things.
Absolutely. You guys wander for what feels like an hour through, as described earlier, endless hallways. Eventually, the desire to find something of substance is strong enough between the three of you that you stumble into a library. It is small. It is a perfect square room, no more than 20 feet across in any direction. But it is 2 rows high. There is a classic library ladder to get up to the higher shelves that rolls around the perimeter of the room. In the center is a slightly oblong oval table, mostly a circle, just slightly stretched. And on it, you see a collection of maps.
Oh, cool.
The three of you arrive in this place. Passive perceptions abound. You are alone.
Oh. I was gonna ask someone a question, but never mind.
You let the nerd lead, I'm sorry.
You were looking for pretty stuff. Niall was sad that they didn't get to go into the chamber. So eventually Nico's will won, and you guys stumbled across a library.
No, I meant like I hope there was someone in the library that I could ask.
There's no
Okay.
The halls are empty, the library is empty.
Okay. Well, I'll take a look at the map, and then once I get bored of that, I'd like to see if I can find anything druid related or circle related. Sorry.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a invest. That was just real loud. It was beautiful. Circle! Give me the circle! Give me an investigation check looking at the map. We'll go around the table. You guys will all get to explore, but we'll do this one by one before we move to the meeting.
I don't get maps because I got a 4.
You got 4. It's less about your ability to decipher maps. You aren't unintelligent. In fact, you're above average intelligence with a +2 modifier. It's more about deciphering why this is here, for it is not a map of the Feywild, and it is not a map of Patria. It is specifically a map of the plains. It is very similar to the constellation that you were shown. There is one key difference. This map is animated. It is moving. It is flowing. You see in the center of the map, and the rest of you obviously join the table having seen what has caught Aqua's attention. In the center of the map is a sphere of aquamarine, greenish, flowing energy, generally associated with the Feywild. And in fact, in a script, in a language that Aqua understands, and that's it. In Sylvan.
I forget what that is, but that's amazing.
It's the language of the Fae, basically. It is pre-Elvish, basically, in some regard.
Hey, how do I know that? Okay, all right, moving on.
It is the word for the Feywild. And above it, like a Venn diagram, partially covering the Feywild sphere, is the material plane. And below it is the Shadowfell. What is different from theologist maps that you have seen, probably Nico, probably not Aqua and Nile, maybe Nile, but Nico, from what you've seen, is the planes of the Nine Hells and the Endless Abyss are adjacent, and in fact, they overlap with both the Feywild and the material plane. And then the elemental planes are transposed behind them as if resting on the elemental planes. You see the planes of fire and air mainly dominating over the Nine Hells, earth and water dominating over the abyss. Surrounded by the classical demonstration of the ethereal planes, and then the astral sea. Beyond the astral sea, you see what looks to be recent additions because they are not animated, they are sketched. And it is a smaller spherical plane that is simply labeled Elysium, ? Aqua eventually growing bored. Make another investigation check, looking for information on, you said the circle? Is there a specific druid circle you're looking after, or you just...
I think for Aqua's brain, I think she would just be excited to find anything about any circle.
Easily enough.
Oh, my shoulder's cracking. Why? Why is my shoulder cracking?
Oh no.
It's your curse.
It's your curse.
Apparently. Investigation is 13.
13. Okay, hold on to that number. We'll come back to you. Nico or Nile, whoever would like to go first.
You go.
I'm digging. Oh, I'm rolling, hey.
Well, what are you looking for first?
I see the sketched in Elysium. Do I know anything about that already? Or is that new to me?
Religious check.
22.
22. Elysium is a umbrella term for what is assumed where the children and Kaela went during Mother's Mercy. It is originally a celestial plane dedicated to Ara, the goddess of life, but it has since become colloquial with the home world of the Pantheon in general, with the stark exception of Eros. He does not reside in Elysium, for he does not reside in any of the planes. He transposes throughout the ethereal planes, guiding, as you know, those who pass to their home world. Or rather, their home deity's plane.
Right. Just for clarity, so that is the celestial plane, or is it separate from the celestial plane?
The Elysium is known as the celestial plane for the majority of the Pantheon, save for Eros.
Okay.
And it is a plane, so similar to the material plane, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a single world. There could be a whole constellation there where all the gods have their own kind of planetary areas. It is very much mishmashed.
Right. I would like to dig into Elysium.
Okay. Give me an investigation check.
14.
14. You begin looking through the library, and it isn't organized in the way that arcane researchers typically organize their library, which is by focus, either by School of Magic or by level of study that you have put into it. It is organized by timeline. Not necessarily the timeline of when the book was created, but by the contents within. For most of these books appear to be based around events and specific knowledge being discovered. You find a book that appears to be the journal writing of one of the scholars that works here in the palace. Someone who has been employed by the Lady of Nights to discover, well, it becomes quickly clear, discover weaknesses of the children, as well as Kyella. And it focuses on Elysium. It focuses on the double-edged sword of them concentrating their celestial power to one plane, of being a symbol of strength, but also meaning there is only one target instead of 10.
Right.
It continues to not quite the level of proselytizing of like prophetic beings such as the Oracle, but it kind of gets into the difference between fact and opinion and discusses the possibility of shifting one of the chaos planes from its resting point beyond Elysium to overlap with Elysium. And this could be achieved by expelling the energy stolen from the children during Mother's Mercy. Or at least that's the theory. The author of the book, by the way, is Divine Theorist of Prophecy Wallace. LLS.
Does that name mean anything to me?
It would be very rare, so go ahead and give me a history check with disadvantage.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You have heard of this author before. You've never read any of their works. They are a fey creature, and as you are learning, they obviously reside here in the Epoch Valley, something that you may have known before but never carried any weight. They are widely considered a fanatic and appear to be in charge of a group of, so much lore, an endless amount of lore.
So much lore.
A fanatic cult of satyrs. He appears to be not one of their leaders, but one of the prophets of their people.
So this is an offshoot kind of idea.
Yeah, there's enough scientific literature, though, that it's like, okay, this guy clearly knew what he was talking about. He may have just gone off the deep end. Mad scientist style.
Gotcha.
We will move, before you decide what else you're looking for, to Niall. What are you looking for?
I'm gonna look for any like demonic creature that sounds a little bit like my bestie in my head.
Sure. Go
Bestie
ahead
in the
and
handy.
roll an investigation check. And I will tell you, based on your DC, there are 3 different possibilities that you will discover.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my god, these rolls. That's a 6.
It's a 6. You find a history of demons, a book written by a name that doesn't really mean anything to you, but it is the Protector of Virtue Pregorius. That name rings a bell. This might be Moss's brother. And in the book, it talks about the idea that it goes on. It is a very dense novel. It's George R. R. Martin length, so for you to read the whole thing will take you a while, which you can steal the book if you want. That's up to you guys. But as you start to read into it, it quickly starts to talk about the idea that maybe the reason why evil exists is to make sure that people acknowledge why good exists, and that perhaps the existence of devils and demons is not evil, but is a necessity to keep the balance so that struggle leads to evolution, leads to the betterment of society in various aspects. And that while demons and devils should be destroyed in order to protect those you love, their very existence is not wrong. It lists a handful of demons that have done business with the Lady of Night. I will send you a list if you remind me. The names are not super important, but it might be important in the future to have those names. It speaks of a shadow council within the 7th layer of hell that Gregorius and, in fact, a Mr. Moongrove were supposed to bridge not an alliance, but a pact of understanding. This individual's name was... I always forget how to say it. Please hold. Beep, 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 beep.
Take your time. I'm still writing
It's
down.
weird being so old that there are books written about what you've done. It's weird. I don't remember any of this, but this is cool.
There is a demon who is known, or a devil rather. This is the hells, not the abyss. There's a devil known as Kentet, the proselyte of antipathy. But they were never able to find them in the 7th layer of hell. What you freaking out about, Hester?
Why is that name familiar?
No reason.
I don't know if you know that name, Moss, but it might ring a bell.
Out of character familiar, sorry.
But besides that, it goes on to talk, and like I said, you could steal the book and read it. I'm sure there's lots in here, but just from the first few chapters, that's the vaguity that you were able to accomplish. Going back to you, Aqua, you rolled a 13 looking for information on...
Circles,
circles.
not drawings.
Like geometric shapes or druids?
Druid circles.
You find a coloring book
Oh, fuck.
with the name Moss Mooglegrove on it. Everything is purple.
Wait, really?
No,
Oh,
absolutely not.
I was like, wait, really?
Blackmail.
No, with a 13 looking for information on druids,
Oh, that's probably
you
worse
do
than
not find much. Unfortunately, with a 13, you do find apparently located in the Feywild, and while similar in name, is decidedly not associated with the Lady of Night, is a Circle of Dreams tribe. Which reside somewhere on the path to the Radiant Isles. It is very vague on how to get to them and how they're located and what they know about them, but there are several... it appears to be a collection of stories written from the point of view of the author. The author of the book is simply the Cloud Child. Which does not ring a bell. And it's just a series of tales on basically like LSD trips as they go to the Circle of Dreams and they try to accomplish their astral self and walk amongst the astral plane as travelers and not as boundless souls. And the many attempts to do so with the help of the druidic leader of this tribe, which is not named in the book. And that's really all you find.
Huh. Okay.
Having given you 2 topics, I will go back to Nico if there is a second topic you would like to research.
Absolutely. So, pivoting from where I was researching prior, I would like to dig up all there is to dig up about Eros, how they work, how they ferry the dead, etc. And I will use my portent, the nat 20, to roll a critical success on it.
Okay. Fantastic. For a total of, with investigation?
28.
28. Absolutely. You have great insight from Moss into the hatred for the gods that the creator of this realm has, the Lady of Nights. Known by many names, the Dreaming Maiden has collected a huge resource of secrets and knowledge and information, and in fact, a book that you find is very, very unique, and you are very concerned on how the Lady of Nights got this. You find a book of Mallow, someone's life book. The name doesn't seem too important. They are Tavhorn Yorlis. And the book is, as was described earlier, a complete telling line by line of Tavhorn's entire life from the moment he was born out of an egg, for he is an Aarakocra, to the day of his death, and then to his rebirth, as he was the product of a revivify spell. Ooh. But he was dead for a while. And the book continues, and it is in those pages where he shared a boat ride with the god of death. And they chatted and discussed great philosophical questions about the purpose of the journey between life and death. If a mage of middling value could summon back a soul with only the permission of that soul, not the god of death, then what is the purpose? And in fact, Tavhorn antagonizes the god of war, the god of death. And in these pages, you learn a few secrets as the armor of Eros cracks under the frustration of this snobby, self-righteous Aarakocra. First thing you learn is Eros travels via a series of pocket dimensions that are created at the moment of someone's death. Their soul does not drift up into the night sky. It creates a pocket dimension that draws the attention of Eros. He enters it through the ethereal plane, collects the soul, and ferries them via his great ship across the astral sea if necessary, as far out as it takes to arrive at their paternal plane, where they are from. If they are not worshipping a deity, even if it isn't the children of Kyella, they will be delivered to the 9 hells if that's where they deserve to be, or that's where their gods decide they deserve to be. If they worship no individual and have done no wrong to deserve that eternal punishment, they will be delivered to Elysium, where they will choose a path of their own. For Elysium houses the gods, it also acts as a barrier around the astral sea. What it is keeping out, you do not know. The second thing you learn is that due to the nature of how many planes there are and the influence of Eros, he is, at least since Mother's Mercy, now considered the most powerful child. His very essence is contained throughout the entirety of the ethereal plane in order to be able to, much like Santa Claus delivering presents, be everywhere at once. Not having a physical body like he used to, he is able to accomplish much more. The third thing you learn, the final thing you learn, one of the questions that Tavhorn asks towards the end, moments before he is summoned. Make an insight check.
That one for 3.
Abruptly, the conversation between Eros and Tavhorn ends as Eros asks a simple question. Are you supposed to be here? Angrily. Tavhorn says, no, I don't know why I'm here. And then suddenly the next page is writing of his eyes opening, looking up at his comrades alive. You read on a little bit more to learn that Tavhorn is a messenger Aarakocra and was struck by lightning and fell to his death. Probably about 10 minutes outside of the city from where he worked, and so he was quickly caught and revivified.
I'd like to steal this book.
Okay. I will remind you, because actually you might not know this, books of Eros contain an entire life.
Right.
They're very big. The book is about 3 feet long and about 1.5 feet wide and about 60 pounds.
Well, in that
It's the
case,
size
I would
of
like to rip these pages out
Ah!
and roll them up and tuck them in my scroll case.
You rip out the pages where
This conversation
this
happened.
conversation happened. Very well. Okay,
I don't care if I damage this dude's soul. He's fine.
cool.
It's not really that.
You take those pages.
More of the wrath of the mummy star.
Stop calling him the mummy star. Death Daddy? Death Daddy?
Death Daddy?
Daddy, sorry. Daddy.
Niall, your last research topic. You are welcome to roll again if you want to continue looking for demon or devils and demons. You will have disadvantage. Or you can choose a new topic. Your call.
Do is I'm going to look at things that I think would pertain to the entity, but I'm not so much looking at the contents as I am listening for a reaction.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Give me an investigation.
Not that I expect it to react that much, but
Give me an investigation check and an insight check.
that's a 22 investigation.
Okay.
And 11 insight.
11 insight. As you are looking for anything related to the entity again, kind of trying to use his reaction as a tuning fork, You reach a section of the library that seems to contain a lot of books on curses and anomalies, as they are referred to. A certain book causes you to immensely feel nauseous.
I'm looking at.
Okay. Make a sanity saving throw.
Ooh.
it. 17.
17 is enough. You open the book and begin reading it, and you quickly understand why he did not want you to see this. This is a book detailing what you quickly decide must have been his last contract bearer. Or a very similar entity. It's hard to tell. There is no specific mention of voice or what they sound like or anything like that, but this individual was forced to kill, was forced to steal, and at one point was forced to attempt to topple the leader of the Unseelie Court. You only get a few pages into this book before you were forced to close it, but you're still able to hold it. There is more to learn.
I'm keeping this book.
Okay. Moving over to our negotiators. Fucking Mac. You fucker.
I'm about to not say a single word. Honestly.
I'm about to be real quiet. You guys are led into a not circular room, a octagonal room. Each facing of the octagon as you enter it. I saw that, Mac, immediately entering the octagon. Has a mosaic-like portrait. There is one of a massive moonstone dragon. There is one of a regal, professional-looking furbolg. And one of... I always forget...
Dryad.
A dryad, thank you. Of a beautiful dryad floating on the surface of a pond full of lily pads. These are spread out semi-formally, and the other depictions are that of the various realms of Mardoon and other such things of import in the Feywild. Within the chamber is a massive grand table. At the head of the table, rather than a seat, is a floating creature. Much like, I gotta step out of character because it's the only way to describe it accurately. Very similar to the angels from the Diablo games that are faceless and yet ominous. The Lady of Nights floats, wearing a very beautiful yet simple gown of starlight threaded material similar to that of the barrier to the Epoch Valley. Around her, sitting in the chairs, leaving only 4 empty. 1 for Lightborn and for your 3 companions, are a couple of people, all of which you recognize, Moss. Going from closest to your mother on the left side, there are 3 people sitting. You see the Exarch of the Dusk Riders, Kaiben, who is basically the head of your mother's military forces, primarily the cavalry, and reports directly to your brother. You see opposite of him is your mother's most trusted archivist, the divine theorist of prophecy, Wallace. You see next to the Exarch, back on the left side, the humanoid version of your brother, the Protector of Virtue. The scaled moonstone dragonborn. And across from him is the Vicar of the Arkborn. You only know this person from conversations overheard in other courts. This man is responsible for establishing a way to transport fey creatures to Elysium.
Oh.
Also known as the Architect of the Celestial Gates. Sitting opposite of him, Lightborn Emirate Galworn steps forward and resumes his place, leaving 3 seats, 2 on either side, and at the end, a place to sit. Who sits where?
You said that, sorry, the places to sit where?
The 3 seats on the end. So 2, 1 beside the Lightborn Emirate, 1 beside the Vicar of the Arkborn, and then the head of the table opposite of your mother. Those are the 3 seats.
I'm gonna sit at that. I'm just kidding.
You sit at the head.
I'll go to that.
You can.
If Moss doesn't sit there, then I guess I will.
I'll gesture for Soren to kind of go towards Emirate, and then I'll take the seat at the head of the table.
Guys, a creature has joined me.
Oh,
She jumped up.
oh God!
Hi, Puss in Boots.
It's Nuggy.
She joined. She's here to find out what's going to happen. Hi. All right, so the king will sit next to the Vicar of the Arkborn. You sit at the head of the table. A familiar voice, that of your mother, reigns out loud and clear, not in your mind, but rather visible, and everyone can hear it, rather. I am so glad you brought allies, son. It shows such great determination. I thank you for joining the War Council, King of the Centaurs, and I believe we have not met. Well, introduce yourself. Don't be rude.
My name is Soren Delanor.
And
Of
who
the
do you
material plane?
represent?
Myself.
How very noble. Welcome. You obviously have earned your spot at this table, or you would not have been able to sit down. Mr. Moongrove, son, it is truthfully very good to see you. But I am curious why you're here. You have shown no interest in joining our efforts. You seem only interested in discovering who you are. And at that, you see a couple people at the table laugh, notably your brother.
Right, because humanitarian crises only exist when they arrive at our doorstep.
Well, I, for the second time in my years, am trying to avert crisis.
It seems you might be creating more crises in the process of attempting to solve of this crisis you're in, because from where I am looking and from my understanding from the ground floor of it all, it seems just like a really poor attempt at doing my job.
Now, son, let's be very clear. I may have created you and gifted you the art of diplomacy, but remember from where you come. Your gifts are mine. As you have discovered, you are powerless if I choose for you to be. Now, without
Because you're
squabbling,
afraid of what I'm going to do? I don't understand.
as we discussed when you were still on the material, where you were supposed to remain for at least a while longer, you need to learn how to be Moss Moongrove. You made the choice before I gave you the Reaper to abandon the courts. You
I
decided to
didn't
travel.
abandon the court.
You can argue as you see fit, but you asked the noble houses that you represented how they felt about being left in the dirt.
If 100+ years of servitude wasn't enough to teach any of you to thaw whatever cubes of ice you have in your chests, then I'm not sure there's anything I could have done for any of you.
And now
Because
you
this is just
understand
ridiculous.
my strife in it all, son. For I have attempted the same in your failure. You are right, 100 years is too long to wait for the squabbles of the various Fey folk to be rid. That is why...
I don't even mean I'm not talking about the squabbles of the individuals. I'm talking about the squabbles that we've been creating here in the courts between each other that don't really matter. I mean, the end of the world, yes, this matters, but I'm talking previously. Why I left. Because it just turned to infighting and politics instead of helping people.
And you blame me for this. I sent you to help them.
No! I didn't I'm not saying I blame you for this, but I'm justifying why I left, because I'm not going to stand here and be made as some sort of example of whatever these people think I am.
Then I will posit this. The same reason why you chose to leave is the same reason why I have had to choose force. You were gone for 100 years. I understand that for you it was much quicker. But you were gone for a century. In that century, I tried what you did, and it too did not work. The Nelithan court has decided that winter is upon us, and I, as well as my sisters, had to choose force. Look at the king of the centaurs here. He was supposed to be the leader of the realms of Mardoon, and instead turned to the plains and abandoned societies. He is not located in the council. He is located in his own herd. Force was necessary.
Can I insight check?
Sure. What are you looking to glean?
Specifically, whether or not she's withholding information about why I was gone for 100 years.
Sure.
Come on, Mackenzie. Okay. That is a 22.
22, unfortunately, does not hit her deception.
Shit.
You sense that she is pulling information, but that is nothing new to you. Yeah. You don't really get a hint of anything specific when she primarily speaks to the 100 years that you were gone. What you do pick up is the sincerity in her passion. You believe that she tried another way before resorting to this non-negotiable contract that she is attempting everyone to sign.
You are literally the single most powerful being in the Feywild, and I'm not entirely inclined to believe that you didn't purposely send me on a fake humanitarian mission to distract me so you could come over here and play what a dictator. Because I can't step freely between the Feywild and the material. You sent me out of here. You let me leave. As much as you keep telling me, oh, it was your choice, you're the one that admitted that the portal was there. You left it there, opened it for me, and then I come back and it's been 100 years and conveniently, everything's a fucking mess, and the only way forward is force.
In the
You
time,
didn't even say...
In the time you've been gone, answer me truthfully. What have you learned about yourself, about your power?
Middling. Frustratingly little. In fact, my greatest breakthrough was when you were honest with me for the first time and told me you put me in this position.
What happened in Salt Creek? Do you blame me for that as well?
I blame you for misleading me and not telling me.
You were unable to control yourself. That much is true. But I believe you have been communicating with someone who may have survived. That is what you were sent for. The same way that you call upon my name to draw your strength, I want you to raise your own. Not as a god, as a force. You are in the driver's seat, son. You decide if you are evil, if you are aggressive, if you are a monster. But whatever path you decide, I have gifted you the ability to call forth allies unlike any treaty that you have signed on behalf of a court. Your followers gain strength through celebrating your name. It is up to you to determine why they celebrate. Is it out of fear? Is it out of some sacred duty that you have bound them to? You lost control because I did not give you information that I thought you would discover on your own. For that, I apologize. But you can control yourself. You will learn through experiences. Avoiding it, having some bloodsucker quell it, will not help. I put you on this path. That is correct. I am your mother. I am your creator. That is my duty. But I am not dictating where you will end up because of it.
Then why are we sitting here posed and ready to dictate the future of the entire Feywild? If you can't see fit to dictate my own future, what are we doing? What is this about? None of this makes any sense.
What have you learned since stepping foot here about what is going on?
That we're on the brink of war with the children of Kaela. I spoke to the literal emissaries of the god of death who were having negotiations with yourself.
Yes, negotiations.
And I've read whatever the miserable document was that you sent to everyone. You really thought there was, was the goal to infuriate and break down the trust of every people in the Feywild with it? Genuinely.
She not rolls her eyes, for you cannot see her eyes, but there is an obvious kind of lean back of her head.
Disintegrated! Gone in an instant!
I feel,
with one signing of a pen!
I feel you are overzealous in your frustration. And the Exarch of the Dusk Riders, Kaiban, at the front, places 5 signed scrolls on the table. There are only 3 of the regions of Mardoon left to sign. They signed willingly, knowing full well that at the end of our days, there will be one option: live or die. They chose to live, and they would not die by my hand. But if I do not have the full strength of the Feywild behind me when we are attacked, we will die.
And we are inevitably going to be attacked.
That is what I believe.
With what evidence? What efforts have been made for negotiations into finding out, or even, dare I say, espionage?
We have met mostly with emissaries from the God of Death, who does not lie within Elysium. He has warned us. She pauses for a lengthy time. What they believe is that the energy that we took back from the material is rightfully theirs. They believe that if they kill myself and your aunties, the Fey essence will return to the material, and all those ailing under the rage of the Fey plague will be saved. Kaela will be returned to glory, worship abound, and their status of the gods of Patria will be cemented once again.
What are the consequences of releasing this be that not that I'm agreeing, I'm just curious. The energy that you are holding, are you withholding it still? Is it I feel like I need to understand better this relationship you have with the energy of the material plane that you've taken, in order to genuinely pose a thesis, a hypothesis here.
At this point, she gestures in the direction of Wallace, the divine theorist of prophecy, who speaks up. It is theorized that the energy taken by the ascendancy at the moment of mercy was siphoned directly out of the material plane, and returning home once again, it is not... how best to describe it? It is like the meeting of a saltwater ocean and a freshwater lake. They do not mix, for they are of different viscosities and makeup. The energy of the material plane is Fey by nature and thus belongs here, he says firmly. But it cannot be integrated the same way it was millennia ago, before the material gates were open. As such, your mother has saw fit, with the blessing of the other ladies, to control the portals, to keep them closed as long as possible in between times of need to travel, to prevent the essence from escaping back to the material. What would happen should we be destroyed? There would be no one to keep those portals closed. The energy would return. It is very likely the Fey Plague would cease, but The lands of the Feywild have enjoyed a much richer atmosphere for 350 years. It would create a vacuum. And this is more of a personal opinion, the people in the material plane who wish not suffer the Fey Plague need only return home. They belong here too.
Most people don't have the means of that travel, so.
Excuse me, what was that?
Most people don't have the means of that travel. They aren't as powerful as you are. Would you welcome them back?
If
What
they
if they
had
wanna
a
come back?
way through or a way to communicate, we would take them, absolutely. They would be welcome here in the very gardens until they were able to settle. They belong to the Feywild and they deserve to return home.
But do they not also deserve the choice to live the life they wish without suffering?
Unfortunately, the price they pay for being outside the Feywild is in measure with the price the lady pays for keeping the Feywild safe. The gates of the material caused too much damage. The erasure of culture and identity was rampant. And just by simple fact of withdrawing from Patria, the mother risked destroying the Feywild just by leaving. She should not have that ability. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
But letting the energy return to the material would not then suddenly grant her a dominion over it, would it not?
She would, I assume, attempt to take credit. And we don't know what that would do to our ascendancy.
I feel that we are at a crossroads between self-preservation and moral obligation.
I disagree. For you have not heard what happens after. My plan, and this is now your brother speaking. The Vicar of the Archborn brother has decidedly created an entryway into Elysium. If we were able to strike first. If, imagine, brother, we took out the children. Then the potential of allowing the essence to return to the material plane poses a much smaller risk. There would be a vacancy in the material pantheon that you and I, brother, and our mother, and our sister, and those of the War Council could ascend. And then there are no issues. The Feywild rightfully return to the central plane dominance. Energy flowing equally in both ways, the Fey Plague would not exist.
Can I insight check Gregorius real quick?
Absolutely. What are you trying to ascertain?
He specifically said his and my name first when mentioning
And then
power vacuum.
his mother.
Yeah, and then mentioned his mother after the fact.
Sure did.
Yeah, that's a natural 17 for 23.
Sure did.
Sure.
Sure did.
Can I pick up any underlying tones of...
It's just more of what you picked up in that previous conversation of,
Okay.
hey, the power vacuum of the Pantheon in the material plane plus absorbing the energy that Mother keeps to herself, you guys would sit above Kaela's reign. Easily.
And you feel that all of you if ascended, would provide the people of the material plane a greater quality of life, lift them from the woes of the children?
I like that.
Or is this simply
turn
a
of
climb to
phrase.
power?
I like that turn of phrase, son. Quality of life. The number one thing that Fey Essence grants you is longevity. Imagine a world of the material plane where all creatures lived as long as you have, if not longer. There would be so much less suffering as the world of people, of men, of dwarves grew older as we do and learned the knowledge that is passed on through ancient families. The biggest problem with humanity, with the material plane, has always been their forgetfulness. They die too soon. They would not repeat mistakes if they were to live as we do. And at this point again, your brother speaks up. Brother, do you imagine a single human you have met turning down 1,000 years?
Longevity's not everything.
No, of course not, but it is a good place to start. We would be seen as heroes, and we would be.
My hesitations lie solely in each of your personal motivations.
Lightborn Emirate Galworn speaks up. I will not speak for the others. Moss, think long and hard. Besides your former self, do you know anyone to worship your mother? Yes, the satyrs have their pact, and you hear Kaibin kind of mutter under his breath. But that is of their own free will. Your mother does not claim dominance over the thoughts of the Fey people and demand their worship. No. She has a set of laws which you yourself have helped enforce and establish. You yourself thought to be fair and just. There is no need for a god of law and order. Why are they fragmented as such to the point where the whole reason for the Mother's Mercy was a disagreement, an argument between their children, and that is what they are, children. We are not. As your mother said, we have lived many natural lives. We have learned through many mistakes. Some even argue that we are older than Kayala. To make the mistakes that she has, she must not be very old. Your brother again speaks up. You are not invited to this table for a reason, brother. You took a different path. I chose war and correction. Our dear sister chose healing and protection. You chose diplomacy, and you have lost your way. You claim to speak for the people.
I have a claim
out
to
of
speaking
8
for anyone.
5 of the 8 houses of Mardoon signed within the first day. That is what the people want.
I'm going to look over to the king.
His fists are clenched on the table.
Yeah, can I?
And what does the king have to say to the will of the people of the Feywild?
not making eye contact with you, your brother, or your mother. The king instead looks at Soren, the only one in the room who does not appear to be more powerful than him, just based on what he has gathered thus far. I must admit, my main reason for not signing that document, as discussed with you earlier, Mr. Moongrove, comes down to a manner of allies. Your mother has chosen to ally herself with the Nine Hells, and I do not care what righteous decision she is attempting to bring forth. Allying with evil makes you evil. I do not believe in the enemy of my enemy being my friend. I believe the enemy of my enemy must have a purpose. The Nine Hells' purpose is to distract us. The Centaurs and the members of the Starfall Coast who we have heard back from will not sign this treaty if the Nine Hells are to be on the battlefield with us.
And might I implore exactly as to the nature of our new relationship with the Nine Hells?
Your mother looks to your brother. Well, in your absence, I was left with no choice but to attempt diplomacy. Following, brother, if you remember our last journey to the Nine Hells, where we were supposed to find a number of devils who had displayed sympathy for the Feywild and were enamored by what we had accomplished during the Ascendancy. I found him. The proselyte. He is who we have signed our treaty with. You remember looking for him. Nobody in the Nine Hells hates Kyella more than Kentet.
And we are also aware that, as is the nature of devils, that they might just be helping us in an attempt to learn how to, I don't know, take your powers and become living gods? I mean...
That very well might be the case. But if we ascend the material plane and steal the Pantheon before that is possible, then there will be no problem. They will be far beneath us.
Do we need them to succeed in this plan of yours, or...
Brother,
is there another way?
we are attempting to invade the realm of 9 gods. 7, technically.
Is this where I reveal my trap card that Soren is in?
Well, the fact that he corrected himself is intriguing. We are at a disadvantage. And, though Mother is very powerful and definitely exhibits the celestial potential of a pantheonic deity, the ladies draw their power from their homeland, not from natural law. The Pantheon, the children, Kyella herself will not be easy to kill. We are still working on that. In the meantime, we will make as many allies as we can.
When it comes to uniting the Feywild, though, is it worth...
I believe in this case, we must decide as a war council, of which you are currently sitting at, if the ends justify the means. We will be in a position of such power, such absolute control of our destinies, that we can rebuild the trust of the Fae and the material plane. But not until we succeed.
We are more than... Go ahead, Soren.
You talk like it's almost a guarantee you are going to win. What if you fail? You will all be... If you are infiltrating them, and what if they kill you all there?
If I am honest, Soren, I believe. If I am honest, if we fail, we are dead. What does it matter? We have to try.
It seems like
your mother's
gamble.
Soren, you can keep talking, but your mother will speak.
Seems like a gamble on the word of a god who you see as an enemy, at least. Or at least not even a friend.
We are working on many fronts. We are not ready to call to light all of our options, but there is a reason we have not struck yet. Let's put it that way. Moss, your mother speaks up. You feel her looking directly at you. Son, look at me.
Look at her.
As you look up, you realize everyone around you is not moving. I don't require your love. I don't even require your allegiance. I am truthfully hurt by your lack of trust. I appreciate your criticism. It is important to be challenged, for if a god cannot stand up to the challenges of their creatures, their creations, their children, they are not gods. I need your support. I realize at this moment you have many questions. I will be honest with you. You will not get the answers you're looking for. Not yet. This isn't a matter of you proving yourself. It is simply not time. I am giving you the opportunity to find your own allies. If you decide to join, then those allies are mine, and you are helping succeed where others have failed. If you choose not to join me, you are not declaring yourself an enemy of the Ascendancy. You will not be sought after. And if you survive the calamity that is to come, you will be allowed to live. I do not hate you. I do not wish you dead. But I do have one question. Where do you draw your magic from? At the moment of your creation, as the same as your siblings, I assumed you drew on my well. Is that really the case? You have summoned me in communion a number of times, but is that because of your drawing of power, or is that simply because I am a god? And I choose to answer.
Well, you would know, it seems.
If I knew, I would not be asking you.
Moss will then
Lift the face. In this time stoppage, in this frozen era, the transformation is slower, more exaggerated. It is true that I gave you this form, I gave you this gift, but it is not of me. I did not look at you and pluck into your soul this Reaper of Dreams. All I did was use my power to grant you more. This is what you created with that.
You know what you're doing is wrong, right? That the ends don't always justify the means. You wouldn't have sent me away and kept me away for so long if you didn't know that. I need to hear you say it, at least, so I know you haven't lost your mind and I'm speaking to the same person that created me 349 years ago, because it feels like your feet are no longer capable of touching the ground that you once were stuck on, just like the rest of us. And it is terrifying to hear you speak.
I am not going to admit that I am wrong. I will admit that I am uncertain. There is a very reality that I will fail. But I do not believe that I should cower below the feet of another god. In its current state, the Feywild, whether directly or indirectly, will be under attack soon. There are whispers even now of Kaela planning a way of opening portals against our will, to allow creatures to travel more frequently, to allow the essence that we took back, not stole, to flow more freely. That sounds all and well, but not if it leads to the decay of the Feywild. Do you not remember the droughts, the fires? Our land was beautiful, our land was lush, but there were pockets where too much essence was leaking through, and the very Fey fabric was wrung dry. I put an end to that. No, son, I am not going to admit I am wrong.
I'm saying you're wrong for the people you're hurting along the way, not because of whatever magic is at play here. And you're so up in the clouds that you can't even see that I'm talking about the living people and not your powers as a god and the Fey essence. These are real people.
Yes, they are. Do you know who else is a real person? Soren Delanar, who suffers from varying effects of the Fey Plague, who has spent his life being used as a tool to try cure it. And I know your friends out there are not all clean either. That was not my doing. I may have taken the energy that sustains them, but I did not allow them to walk forth from my domain in the first place. I did not put them at risk in the first place. The hatred for the gods that the material plane folk have is not misplaced. And because of their lack of worship, the gods have never been weaker. I ask you again, look at me, son. Am I your patron or not? You feel the sphere on the sling around your side glowing glowing warm.
There's a better way. There's a different way where we don't have to force people against their will to work alongside this just degradation of culture and identity, ascending to godhood. This is all insane. We have no right. The children are wrong, and they were never been right. But that doesn't give us the right, and that doesn't make you right for what you've done in the meanwhile. I'm not blaming you for your actions for saving the Feywild, but you're basing your entire decision, this entire campaign, every step on fear. I'm not afraid of whatever will happen if we were to let go. I'm not afraid of any of that. But you just are so focused on it.
There is no face to your mother, but you sense her rage. You feel yourself are lifted off the ground in Reaper form, the orb now in your hands, the ground far below you. You are now at eye level with your mother.
You are literally a living chance to make everything the best it could ever be, and yet you still choose suffering to justify the ends to whatever you want. You still choose. It's unbelievable.
I will not ask again.
I won't stop you. The gods are wrong, the children are wrong, but I'm not yours anymore.
The orb is in your hand. What do you do? You're looking at your mother. Looking down at your friends. Well, a friend. Your brother. The War Council. Not moving.
Before we part ways, Mother, because despite it all, you're still my mother. I still love you. Smashes the orb.
As the orb is thrown at first in slow motion in this weird time stoppage, you drift down with it as it speeds up as the time stop ends and shatters into the ground at the same time as your forearms smash into the table in Dream Reaper form. Soren, in an instant, you see, from your perspective, Moss rapidly turn into the Dream Reaper in a split second and smash the table at the same time as his sphere, again, the size of your head, if not a little larger, hit the center of the table. I need everybody to make a charisma saving throw, including...
do I have advantage for charm?
No, not for charm.
Do I need to make one?
Yep.
Okay. That is a 24.
Fail. Succeed. Your brother succeeds.
Is Moss still able to talk while this is
Fail.
happening?
Well, this is happening instantaneously.
I got a
so hold
20.
on. Everyone fails except for your brother. How about your mother? She chooses to succeed. She's fine. What did you get, Moss?
24.
24. And Soren?
20.
20. You two both succeed. So you two, your mother, and basically the family, the Moongrove family and Soren survive.
Yeah, let's go.
The Exarch, the Divine Theorist, Lightborn, and the Vicar are all shunted out of their body.
Oh,
And
no,
you
wait.
watch as their souls are sucked
that would've been
into
so
the
weird.
destructive energy caused by the shattering of the orb. And boom, all of your guys' visions go black. And that is where we'll end tonight's session.
What? What?
Hey, everybody. Dungeons and
That's
Dragons.
not good.
What the hell?
What?
Thank God I saved. Jesus.
And with
Man,
that,
guys, we sure have a great book, huh?
and with that, you all hit level 5.
Yeah! Woo!
So
Roll
before
that,
we
roll.
leave, we'll do this as a fun little addendum. We will go around the table and roll our hit dice. Moss, I imagine you'll be rolling D6s instead of D8s.
Moss is sorcerer now?
Okay.
Or wizard?
Okay, Bubbly, go ahead and
Oh.
give me a D8.
A D8?
So,
Yeah, like
roll it.
Okay.
Oh.
Wait,
Okay.
Do I
We'll
need to
talk, we'll
read
talk.
it? Okay.
It's a 5.
I
It's
want
a
one more
5.
yet.
Okay. I'm editing your HP as we go, guys, so don't worry about
Okay.
that.
Thank God.
Okay, we'll go to Nico next. You level up to level 6, Nico.
ooh.
That was going to be my question.
Go ahead and give me that
Da.
D6.
I rolled a 1. Do I get to re-roll it?
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
Out of
reroll
pity?
Out of,
Yay.
no, I
Ones
reroll
out
ones
of
always.
pity.
Yeah, out of pity.
Because no one likes, like, look,
2. Let's go.
that's almost okay.
Okay.
It's like one
next
third.
will be
Yeah, I'm a wizard.
Moss, but we'll do that. You can roll your hit dice, but we're gonna have to shuffle around your character sheet quite a bit. So we'll come back to you, Niall.
Is it a D?
I
a
believe
D?
fighter is a
D10.
D10.
Okay, I was right. Do. That's a 9.
Let's go.
Nice.
Is my HP supposed to be 48? I feel like that's wrong.
No, your HP
it was 'cause of
is now 45.
Soren's thing.
You had other buffs, but it should reset now.
Okay.
Your base HP is 45. Soren, go ahead and give me that D8. I'm assuming you're staying cleric.
Yeah.
Not doing any
don't know.
multi-class yet. Who knows? Who knows?
Wait, what are you updating on Foundry?
No, on D&D Beyond. 3.
Okay.
Okay. Giving you a grand total of 54 hit points. Thank you guys so much for tuning in as the party levels up and totally owns the Lady of Nights in that negotiation. Honestly, things went pretty well. Big round of applause for Bear having an IRL war with the DM and also his mom and also a god at the same time at level 4. I think honestly, very well done. We will be back next week, normal time. Nothing has changed here. Before we leave, guys, as a reminder, follow us on Twitter, on TikTok. I know Twitter's a hellscape, but we post some funny things sometimes. Make sure you're followed on Twitch so you guys know when we go live. We'll be back next Monday at 8 Eastern. And shoot me a DM on Twitch, on Discord, or email 3deathsaves@gmail.com. If you're interested in helping us be a media manager, it's really not a whole lot other than being around during streams so you can help with clips and stuff like that. And we will see you next week. Bye. Everyone keep, this isn't awkward at all. Everyone keep waving. I have to prepare the next scene. Please keep waving. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. And we're good. And we're good. We're good. In the time it took for the Lady of Night and her sisters to ascend the Fey Pantheon, something that had not existed for nearly 3,000 years, they decided immediately to lock away a portion of themselves in creatures of noble esteem. The Lady of Nights created Pregorius, Moss Moongrove, and Anselma, a method to keep her power divided. Much like a soul stone, the Lady of Nights could not be injured as long as her children survived. And so she sought to separate them, to assign them to varying tasks. The other ladies, too, had their tokens. One such token disappeared. For something not mentioned by Pregorius or Moss Moongrove is upon that journey to the Nine Hells, seeking the Kentet. A devil of great renown, sought to be the only devil who hated Kaela more than Asmodeus himself. There was a third companion, Lord Tresor, a nobleman from a house no longer sought after. Turned out to be a son of the Lady of Suns, or the Lady of Days. He never left the Nine Hells. The last thing he did as the hunt for Kentet failed for the third straight year in a row was remove his memory from the minds of both Moss and Pregorius. Somewhere deep in the Nine Hells lies a creature of the Feywild.